to say. It's time to turn the channel of the Keeler Show today.
Why do we always listen?
Keeler's always in the know.
It makes me want to call him
and tell him where to go. And now let's get things started. Andrew, let's get things started.
It's time to get things started.
On the most sensational, inspirational, celebrational, Keelerational. This is what we call the Keeler Show.
WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM. This is Keeler.
I like how that just ends. Good morning. What a weekend it was. And wow. Davey, how about those Buffalo Bills?
You can't win them all.
Well, I'm going to ask you, did you see any of the game? I mean, a really exciting game that the Bills should have won. But I know Christine is out there. Go ahead, Christine.
No, it's okay. I don't need to rub it in.
Feel some gloat coming on here.
No.
Listen, the 11 starters down. I mean, I don't mean to make excuses, but it just got to be a point where there was player after player going out. And how did Miami's quarterback come back after that hit? I don't know how he ever came. And that to me is not. I'm not saying this necessarily about that changed the outcome of the game. I'm sure it probably did, but based on what the NFL is supposed to be doing to protect quarterbacks, that seriously has to be looked into.
So I believe they were already looking into it. He said after the game that it was a groin and abdominal issue.
That seemed like a really weird-looking way to walk with a groin abdominal issue.
But, Bill, if you see the hit that Matt Milano put on him and the way that the CBS cameras looked at it, he was like woozing back and forth, like almost ready to fall down.
Oh, I completely agree. I mean, there's no way he should have come back. I mean, if we really are supposedly trying to protect the health of the players when it comes to concussion protocol, I don't know how he ever should have come back. But, hey, I'm not saying that because the Bills lost the game. The Bills missed a field goal that would have changed everything. Their time management, twice they ran out of time during that game.
I didn't see the end of the game in the second half.
They ran out at the end of the first half.
That was awful. That was awful.
That was absolutely terrible.
And that stuff is going to catch up with you. I mean, and I get it. Your starters are down. Your secondary was completely brand new this weekend. But it's it's a game they should have won, especially after that horrible kick out of the end zone.
So can I ask you, was there an explanation given as to what happened after the game? What happened at halftime? They're going into halftime. Did he decide to do the pass to Diggs instead of spike it because he almost fumbled the snap?
Or was it planned? I don't know. I did not see that.
There was 2 seconds on the clock. As a matter of fact, Kevin Harlan was doing the game, and he kind of said as they were going to halftime, if he didn't bobble the snap, maybe there would have been a couple of seconds left on the clock, but when he snapped the ball, there was only 2 seconds. There was no way they were going to get the pass off and get a kick in. There's no way.
I don't know. I just feel like that was even if it wasn't planned, he just bobbled the snap. He still could have passed or done whatever.
Or spiked it. He could have
spiked it. Yeah. Right. Should have spiked it. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know what happened there. I unfortunately did not see the end of the game. I've seen replays of it, but I know it's just like, it's highlights. It's the guy not running out of bounds when he's supposed to run out of bounds.
Yeah.
I'll say this as well. Whenever the Bills and Dolphins play again, it is a great strategic play by the Dolphins.
Well, the Dolphins haven't beaten the Bills in the last 8 tries, like the last 8 games, I don't believe.
That's correct.
That's the first win the Dolphins have had over the Bills in a long time. Still, listen, it doesn't change anything. As far as I'm concerned, it doesn't change anything at all. The Bills still have Pittsburgh and then Kansas City. Those one very big game, but you got to get past Pittsburgh. You called that a trap last week, and it very well could be.
Baltimore this Sunday.
The strategic play being the way that they've got the stadium designed. The Miami Dolphins are always in the shade on a hot sunny day like yesterday. It was almost 100 degrees.
You had a couple of players out from heat exhaustion yesterday, Bills players. Again, no excuses, but when you have 11 of your starters out, that's probably not going to mean you're going to play your best game. Or it's probably going to mean you're not going to play your best game.
Anytime they play in Miami, that will be the case, but there's only one time a year when you play them, and it's 90-something degrees, and you're in the baking sun for the entire 3.5-hour game. So in the future, the Bills won't have to deal with that because they'll either be at home or if they, by some chance, play them in the playoffs and the games in Miami, it's certainly not going to be 100 degrees.
So and again, I'm not making any excuses at all. But again, it doesn't really. You've got Miami in first place right now. I feel like it's actually not such a bad thing.
Take some of the heat
off.
Been
so much pressure here.
Yeah,
this is the team. They're gonna go undefeated through the season. Nobody can touch the Buffalo Bills. Well, I think it's a good wake up call.
I can actually
see what happens, but I see it as just a little bump in the road. Keep plowing forward. How about the Mets over the weekend? They're a game and a half up, and today the Braves will play that one game, and then they will be even. With a little more than a week to go in the season, the Mets still in first place, but 3 games with the Braves coming up. But even more dangerous, 2 games with the Miami the Marlins.
There. So it's funny, both Miami teams, both Florida-based teams called the Fish. Right, they nicknamed them the Fish, the Marlins and the Dolphins,
and both could be trouble for New York. Scherzer with a great outing, but DeGrom all of a sudden looking human. That's a little scary.
Yeah, it happens occasionally, and again, this is a situation I think where I'd rather have it here. I don't expect he'll give up any runs in his next start. You know what I mean?
Right.
I wish his next start was a playoff game, but. It happens every once in a while, I guess. Scherzer had a rough outing not too long ago. But
DeGrom had kind of a rough outing. His last outing, previous to this, wasn't his best performance. And then a very rough outing over the weekend. How about the Yankees? What's going on, Davey? I feel like this whole home run thing has gotten into Judge's head. Right? So now every time he comes up to the plate, everybody thinks nuts. They think it's the moment. They want it to happen right there because they're there. They are in the ballpark to witness history. And it just seemed to all weekend long get into his head.
But they're on a 5-game winning streak. That's all I'm going to say.
Well, I guess that's all that matters, especially during this time of the year.
Actually, it might even be more than that. I think it's up to 7 now.
Well, they go to Toronto tonight.
Then 7 in a row.
And then they have Baltimore, and then they close out the season with Texas.
And then if we can talk just a little bit about Syracuse, a game that looked like they were just going to blow out their Florida opponent, it turned into a game. And what an exciting finish to that game. But now Syracuse is 4-0, playing Wagner this week. So there's in all likelihood, Syracuse will be 5-0 after this weekend. And they made it to the coaches poll. They're number 25.
I was just going to say you forgot to mention that.
Yeah, so that pretty interesting. So what a weekend of action.
The dome was rocking on Friday.
It was. It's my first game in quite a while going to the dome, and you see that video screen scoreboard that they have is unbelievable. You find yourself watching that as opposed to watching the field. Obviously you get down into the bleacher seats, you'd have to look way up to see it. But if you're sitting up there, you're viewing it's one giant high definition screen. It's unbelievable.
They say that about Dallas, that people watch the screen, not the field.
Yeah, and I think that happens now in Syracuse. But a big win. And, listen, even when you're not at your best, they certainly came out flat-footed in the second half. And then won the game. They won the game. So they go to 4-0. That's something to watch. I just don't know that we can handle Mets, Yankees, Syracuse, the Buffalo Bills, despite this weekend. All of this stuff The Giants playing tonight. All of this, everybody's playing well. I don't. I'm not used to that.
Comets right around the corner too. By the way,
it's crazy. Okay, so we have a ton to get to here this morning for the final Monday of September. Believe it or not, can you believe it's already October, Christine?
Can't believe it.
Yeah.
I will say, I thought September flew by. I mean, whew.
I guess you're right. Dave Fontaine is on this morning. We'll talk about Utica University and the new athletic programs that are being added over there. We just discussed this on Friday with Kevin Fear, the Mattress Express guy, who's talking about sleep divorces. And what does that mean? Well, you do weird things when you're sleeping. You snore. You got one of those machines on. It's preventing your partner from being able to get a good night's rest. So what happens? You decide to sleep in different beds or even in different bedrooms. It seems to be trending. Kind of interesting.
There's also a story going around that people who snore are more likely to get cancer. So I don't know that we'll get anything from him, but we do have a guest that will give us a couple of thoughts on that. Something to do with the lack of oxygen, and but that's kind of scary. People who sleep apnea. I didn't think it was any healthier for you, but the C word makes you
I kind of wonder how they do these things. It's like, okay, you've had cancer. Do you snore? Yes. Okay, see, more evidence. I mean, I wonder about some of these theories that they come up with, but let's see what they have to say. Senator Griffo is on today holding a press conference, or held a press conference last week regarding bail reform. We also have an attorney on later this week that is going to say that the bail reform crisis that we're going through is, when you look at the numbers, is really kind of more hype than it is reality. So you will have your unique cases where somebody will shoplift, and then they'll shoplift again, and then they'll shoplift again. But for the most part, and the way judges used to handle cases, for the most part, it's pretty similar to what it was like before bail reform. Would you find that to be hard to believe?
I would.
Based on the numbers, that's what they say. So, and also, if it's a serious violent case, that person is being held anyway. But also, you have those who were able to post bail in the first place and get out immediately. So it'll be interesting to see what he says about these numbers. But, statistics, they can tell it like it is, or they can skew things just a little bit.
I believe 90% of the statistics can make you say anything or something like that.
I believe so. And Oneida County Executive Tony Pacini is on this morning as well. But what has happened to the weather? We have just gone from what seemed like a really nice September, and again, the clock strikes fall on Thursday, and we plummet. The temperatures plummet. It was a cool weekend.
Saturday wasn't bad.
Rain. Saturday was
nice
a pretty
sunshine.
nice day. Yeah.
And I'll say this: I threw the jacket on this morning for the first time this year, expecting that I was going to walk out. It was going to be one of those 39-degree mornings, but it's almost 60.
Yeah, it's pretty warm this morning.
It's warm this morning.
But we have rain for the next couple of days before things start to look a little sunnier, heading Thursday, Friday, and into the weekend. Christina will do an update coming up in a second. Stand by at 6:30. It is Monday morning. First news with Keeler in the morning on WIBX.
For the past 25 years, the Good News Center has been committed to building relationships. Better relationships for marriage, better family relationships, and a better relationship with God while promoting self-change. Hi, this is Judy Hauk, Executive Director at the Good News Center. Our programs are designed to support you at your most challenging times. Whether it is marriage difficulties, addiction issues, suffering the loss of a loved one, or caring for someone close, we can offer you support. Or strengthen your faith journey by attending one of our spiritual renewal programs, such as a Bible study or Theology Uncorked. Our support programs are available in person or via Zoom. They are mentored by peers, cost nothing, and are confidential. For more information about all of our programs, visit us at thegoodnewscenter.org or call us at 315-735-6210. The Good News Center, building relationships for over 25 years.
Good morning, WIBX. First news with Keeler in the morning news time. is 6:31. 56 degrees overcast. We'll have your full forecast coming up in just 2 minutes. Your news is brought to you by New York State Oasis. Hiring a person in recovery can change their lives and yours. If you're a business owner, you may be eligible for tax credits. Visit oasas.ny.gov. That's oasis.gov. Well, the governor of Florida is calling on folks in the Sunshine State to prepare for what could turn out to be a major hurricane. Ian is no longer just a tropical storm. It reached Category 1 hurricane strength overnight. DeSantis says there will be pretty broad impacts throughout the state, including power outages, fuel disruptions, and evacuations. The House committee investigating the January 6th attack on the U.S. Capitol is back with another public hearing this week. Members of the Democrat-led panel have not yet announced the topic, but confirmed the hearing will take place Wednesday afternoon. No word yet on whether it will feature any in-person witnesses. The U.S. is warning Russia of catastrophic consequences if it were to use nuclear weapons in Ukraine. Secretary of State Antony Blinken told CBS's 60 Minutes that Washington has sent private messages to Moscow after Russian President Vladimir Putin hinted last week that nuclear arms could be on the table to defend Russia. Blinken said that kind of loose talk is dangerous and that the consequences would be horrific. The Justice Department must provide electronic copies of materials seized from former President Trump's Florida home by Monday. It's only for documents not labeled classified, according to the special master tasked with reviewing materials in Trump's team. Trump's attorneys must say whether the former president is asserting attorney-client privilege or executive privilege, or whether the document is a person or presidential record. Officials in eastern Canada still assessing the damage left by post-tropical cyclone Fiona over the weekend. Areas in and around Nova Scotia were slammed by heavy rainfall and hurricane winds. On Sunday, hundreds of thousands of residents remained without power. And the NFL is confirming Rihanna will be headlining the Super Bowl halftime show next year. On Sunday, Rihanna shared an Instagram post with her just tattooed arm in the air holding a football with the NFL shield. The league followed up with a tweet with the same picture. Super Bowl 56 takes place at State Farm Stadium on February 12th in Glendale, Arizona. Your WIBX Weather Center forecast is brought to you by Clinton Tractor, the leader in service. Visit them today at clintontractor.net. Showers likely and a thunderstorm or two possible this afternoon with a high near 65 degrees. A chance of showers and thunderstorms tonight, partly cloudy with a low around 50. Tuesday, showers likely, mostly cloudy with a high around 62. More showers on Tuesday night, mostly cloudy with a low around 49 degrees. Right now, 56 degrees, WIBX 950 AM and 106.9 FM news time is 6:34.
Okay, Christine and Jeff has stepped out, but Davey, another monumental moment over the weekend in Major League Baseball. Albert Pujols became the fourth player in baseball history to hit 700 home runs. This is what it sounded like over the weekend. Yeah, no, maybe. Not going to play. I'll play it for you in a bit, but it's a huge deal. Of course, joining Babe Ruth, Hank Aaron, and Barry Bonds, who leads with 762. But Pujols, over the weekend, the fourth player ever to hit 700 home runs. Wow, pretty big. We'll break and come right back. 6:35 at WIBX.
Hi, this is John Calabrese. Is your company looking to hire qualified, dependable employees but unsure of where to look? Let Express Employment Professionals take on the recruitment and hiring process for you. We're a locally owned, full-service staffing firm. We'll help you find your next star employees. Business decisions come down to time and money, and Express can save you both. We take on finding employees for you so you can focus on meeting your business goals. Find us on the web at expressmohawkvalley.com for details on how to get started.
Are you looking for a great job? Stop searching. ECR International is hiring for assemblers and maintenance technicians. You could be working for the company that actually helped kickstart the world-famous Boilermaker Road Race. Both of the positions that we're currently hiring for offer excellent pay with a full benefits package. Instead of waking up every day dreading work, wake up and have a fulfilling job working for a great local company. Work for ECR International. To find out more, just call Express Employment at 315-790-5723.
This is Harry G., the heat pump expert from Country Suburban. When your state planning to eliminate fossil fuels, heat pumps are the wave of the future. Heat pumps can save you up to 30% or more on your heating and cooling bills. Right now, you can receive up to $20,000 in heat pump incentives. Call 315-735-5300 for a free estimate.
You wash your hands and brush your teeth, but what about your nose? How do you clean your nose? With Navage. Navage pulls saline in one nostril, around the back of the nose, and out the other nostril, flushing out allergens, mucus, dirt, and germs, and it's why nose cleaning is the next evolution in daily personal hygiene. People try Navage for lots of reasons: sinusitis, allergies, snoring, things that make it hard to breathe through your nose. But over time, they also find that cleaning their nose makes them feel better, a lot better. Nearly 3 million Navage users have written more than 100,000 reviews, averaging 4.7 stars, saying things like, "Best product I've ever used," and "Amazing, I love my Navage." That's because Navage helps you breathe better, sleep deeper, and snore less. But the biggest payoff is improved health. Here's the key point. Navage is good personal hygiene, and it's going to help you stay healthier. At Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, Rite Aid, Bed Bath, Target, and online. Navage, Navage. Clean nose, healthy life.
Every search you make, every click you take, they'll be watching you.
Are you tired of being tracked online? There's a simple solution. DuckDuckGo. It's an all-in-one privacy app with a built-in private search engine, web browser, one-click data clearing, email protection, and more, all for free. Download the app today and get the most comprehensive privacy protection with the push of a button. DuckDuckGo. Privacy simplified.
WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM. This is Keeler.
Albert Pujols, homered earlier tonight, was one swing away from 700 career home runs.
Pujols sends one in the air. It's deep to left. It's 700. Albert Pujols has joined the 700 home run club.
Well, you wonder when Judge is going to get that moment, his moment, right? And Davey, what do the Yankees have to look forward to? They're on the road now, right, for the rest of the season.
They're in Toronto until Wednesday. Then they're off. Then they go to Baltimore for the weekend series.
Okay, so whatever happens will happen is going to end up happening on the road. So today, Christine, is National Pancake Day. I'm not sure why
Very exciting.
Why we select this day as National Pan. Wouldn't Sunday be the perfect day, like a Sunday versus a Monday?
I think so.
I mean,
I've been craving pancakes.
It's a lot to ask for. That not only pancakes, they're not quick and easy to eat to begin with. If you're making them at home, it takes longer than maybe a bowl of cereal or eggs. Why do it on a busy morning when you've got to get these kids off to school, for God's sakes?
Pancakes is one of those things that tastes so much better when someone else makes them for you.
I think you're right.
No, because
and
like you don't want to be making them,
right.
smelling them, and by the time you get to eat them, they don't taste so great. But if somebody else makes them for you, oh my
true.
goodness.
Yeah. And the other part of that is cleaning up the mess. Excuse me, afterwards. Sorry about that. Cleaning up the mess afterwards is a whole other thing that you end up dealing with. Some news from over the weekend. Of course, my weekend was just filled with a lot of football and a lot of baseball. The Wall Street Journal has an interesting story today, and it is basically a column of a column about the home test that we get to take, the COVID home test. And the question is, can you trust that at-home COVID test result? And this author of this article says, what 5 tests in 24 hours taught me. And I completely feel like it's a huge problem that these tests consistently are testing negative. And you hear it all the time where it's like, I tested negative. Took 3 tests, but then they go off and they get the full PCR test and they end up testing positive.
Yeah, you've been talking about this for quite some time.
Yeah, I don't think they're accurate.
So I find it interesting. Who had the article?
Her name is Sumathi Reddy in the Wall Street Journal. After dodging COVID-19 for nearly 2.5 years, I knew my time would come. I tested positive on a rapid antigen test. But she had taken, it says, but I also tested negative on 2 other rapid tests and negative on a PCR. That I've heard happen as well. I have one friend whose family had COVID. So you just assume that eventually you're going to get it, right?
Yeah, how could you not? You live in the same quarters as them.
Right.
How could you not?
Had cold symptoms, but kept testing negative. Tested at home negative. Tested at home negative again. Then went out and got a test and still tested negative. Finally, when the symptoms kept persisting, went out one more time and tested positive. So I just I don't get it.
Well, I'm glad they don't use these tests for cancer. Imagine going through that. I've got it. I don't have it. I've got it. I don't have it.
Right.
But, yeah.
Terrible.
Look, you pointed this out. Matter of fact, we did a little stunt here on the air. I shouldn't say stunt, but we waited about a week after you got sick, and then you wanted to test me because I had cold symptoms, but I kept testing negative.
I'm telling you, I still think you were positive because...
It could be.
Because remember what ended up happening? So I come back. I end up coming back, testing negative, spend 3 days here, test positive. The following week goes by, Jeff has the same symptoms, testing negative. A week after that, what happened in the building? The whole building had it. I mean, we had 10 people down with COVID.
That was you, not me, Bill.
At one point. Now, maybe I caused the whole thing. I guess it's possible. But I just say, I think there are a lot of people that test negative, and they're walking around spreading this crap. And I get
unknowingly,
it.
yeah.
Unknowingly, and I get it. You're not. I also love when somebody says, "No need to worry." Achoo. No need to worry. It's just a cold. All right. Well, get your cold away from me. I don't want your cold either.
My son and I were in the grocery store the other day, and he was fine. You know, we were just kind of waiting in the checkout line, and he snaps his head and sneezes. And I go, "Oh, you all right, bud?" And then he snaps his head and sneezes again. And I felt so weird. I blurted out, "Boy, that just started. I don't know where that came from," because I felt like everybody was looking at us now because he's sneezing.
Yeah.
So, but again, it was.
God forbid you sneeze.
It was a complete, out of the blue, back-to-back sneezes. But I just almost felt like I had to, to avoid judgment from the others in the line. I had to say, "Boy, that's weird. You've been fine." So, and he has been. So, and he's good now.
Well,
it's just a sneeze.
Allergies, and that's the thing. You sneeze somewhere, people go crazy over it. It's like, what are you doing here? Why would you be out if you're sneezing like that?
Meanwhile, and I'm not complaining, but I thought about this the other day. And again, this gets to the whole conversation of what is it? What do we call the young people? Snowflakes. Everybody's a winner. Snowflake thing, right?
Yeah.
My son had soccer practice last week in the rain twice. And it continued. And I thought to myself, boy, with everything going on, shouldn't this be canceled? And then I thought, when I was a kid, if it rained, it was a reason for me to go out and play a game. Yeah. So I don't know.
I got into a conversation with somebody about that over the weekend. It was just every single item, every box checked from, we're teaching our kids to hate America to kids today, everybody gets a trophy to, it was like every one of them, like every box was checked during this conversation. And so you have a choice at that point. You can debate, which we tend to do 5 days a week from 6 to 9, or you can be like, yeah, I know.
I feel like the conversation with
Terrible.
You, if it was out someplace, it was like this. Yeah. Can I get another double?
Yeah, that's right.
If I'm going to have to listen to this.
Exactly it. Right. If you have to listen to it, bring it on. Geraldo Rivera has taken a huge turn. Geraldo has been a very staunch supporter of President Trump. And you'll often hear Geraldo on Friday mornings on Kilmeade. And really has done a great job defending the president. That does seem to be over now.
Well, did you see the 60 Minutes interview last night?
I did. We'll talk about that coming up in a second. So Geraldo on Sunday went after Ted Cruz, who now Ted Cruz is out saying that Donald Trump won the 2020 presidential election. The claim by Cruz and Senator Josh Hawley and Trump is so widely preposterous that it ranks with the claim that the Earth is flat, according to Geraldo. Election deniers this is Geraldo. Election deniers who really believe 2020 was stolen are lost causes. I feel sorry for them, but they've decided the world is flat. Much worse, those who know better but to support the lie anyway, like Ted Cruz and Josh Hawley, everything they say should jam the BS filter. And it goes on from there. He talks about how he no longer could support President Trump for president. His good friend, President Trump, and those two were very, very close. Geraldo has had his back through the entire presidency and afterwards.
Yeah, I think, I don't know, the election issue, is that ever going to go away? There's never going to be evidence that's presented where people go, oh, wow. Those people who believe that it was stolen, they're never going to go.
There can't be evidence if you don't trust the government. If you assume the government is faking, if every piece of evidence, in contrast to what you want to believe, your answer to it is, well, that's all part of the big lie.
Mm-hmm.
The other side, big lie, right? There's two sides of the big lie. There's the big lie who says that Biden won fair and square, and there's the big lie that Biden didn't win and Trump actually won. Depends on which side you're on, I guess. But you know, if you don't trust any establishment, any authority, then no evidence would work.
That's a good point.
Right?
Yeah, right.
And I think that's, but Geraldo putting it, and it is very interesting because it is comparable to the flat earther issue. There is so much evidence that the world is round. The evidence is overwhelming. But there are still people that are like, that's all, that's what they're telling you. And my favorite about the flat earthers is they look at you like you're the goofball. Like you're the one, oh, yeah.
You're drinking
You've consumed the Kool-Aid. Yeah. You believe the world is round.
Do you know on one of the networks had a show with the flat earthers, and essentially, again, I didn't watch the show.
There are times where you're watching them and you're like, I don't know, maybe they're right. I mean, the evidence that they're presenting, which is all BS, is just pretty compelling. Like, wow, maybe have we really ever gotten a full picture from space? Are those pictures real? Yeah, they are.
So what ended up happening in the conclusion, the final episode, and I don't remember if this was a documentary or a series, the guy lays out his case. They follow him going from convention to convention to speak with people who believe the earth is flat, and they're providing their version of facts and information and various numbers. And then they do a real-life test, and they find a spot. I don't remember the exact calculation, but essentially after a certain amount of time, a distance on the planet, there's another curve, right? Like curves over time, obviously, right? So they end up setting up these, what's essentially a wall with a hole in it, and they're on the same height above sea level. So the guy concludes that if I shine my light through this wall with a hole in it, I'll prove to you it's a flat earth because on that wall, that's, I don't know, an eighth of a mile, a tenth of a mile down the road,
right.
It's going to appear on the same spot. And they do the test, and the guy's like, well, I don't see the light. He's like, well, that doesn't. And they go back and forth for a few minutes as to how they don't see the light. And he goes, well, you know, if the earth was round, if you stood up higher on the ladder and raised the light, I'd be able to see it. And he goes, hold on. And then you see the light. And he goes, oh. The flat earther, like the light bulb goes off in his head. It is round. And that's kind of how that series ends. It's a great thing.
Wow.
We're never going to see that with the election, though.
No, I don't think so. I don't think so. Last night on 60 Minutes, it is, and I have friends that were going back and forth with me last night about, can you believe they're wasting their time on this? Listen, there is a Trump appointee, a Trump supporter who no longer supports President Trump since January 6th and the denial of the election and et cetera, kind of like a Geraldo come to Jesus. Anyway, what he is claiming, and he's broken from the January 6th committee because he feels like they haven't gone far enough. And he says that he's one of the digital people, one of the digital experts that is going through all of the, whether it's text messages, phone calls, et cetera, that there is at least one phone call that came from the White House to one of the rioters, January 6th rioters, at least one phone call during the rioting that was occurring at the Capitol building.
To one of the
one of the rioters.
Yeah.
That's a problem. I mean, number one, well, because this was, I kind of looked at it like, well, maybe it was a call from someone inside the White House that said, you guys got to stop, you got to go home. But just the mere fact that they have the phone number of one of the rioters and they just are able to reach out to him is probably a bit problematic on its own.
Absolutely. I mean, I guess you would hope that the call was, hey, this has gone too far,
One would hope. Now, we don't, according to the digital expert, we don't know who made that call from inside the White House, but the call came from inside the White House to one of the insurrectionists.
That guy said he was a big Trump fan for a long time, was a member of Congress. As you said, it all changed on January 6th. And that was just kind of the tip of the iceberg. There are other things that he points out that really have flipped his opinion and his position as to Trump and not only the election, but January 6th and other things. He was talking about, I've been in meetings with him. I know what was going on. You can listen to someone's account who is a critic of Trump tell you, well, he did this, and everyone kind of, not everyone, some people discard it as, well, you're a critic of Trump's anyway.
You've hated Trump so much, you just can't stop.
Correct.
But when you're getting people that come forward who are Trump supporters who
are like, I can't believe we were running the government this way.
Yeah. Well, Christine, you want to comment on that? No.
No, I think that, I think that certain people have changed and other people have dug their heels in. So
I agree. I don't think that anything comes out of the January 6th commission is going to necessarily change those people's minds. If you're a staunch supporter, you believe that this is a witch hunt, and every president does whatever the excuse is. Everybody does it. Obama took home a bunch of stuff, which that has been proved not true, by the way. But it still is. You're not going to be moved by this. It does, however, I feel, create a record as long as it's done accurately and fairly and scientifically proper, investigatively proper, I guess would be a better way to look at it. It becomes a record.
There are also two groups who are strongly pushing for Trump to run again for the White House. The first group are the Trump loyalists, and the second group, they're called Democrats.
I agree.
They're
You're
big fans.
Right. Yeah. Let me see if I can throw one more thing in before we break. This just is incredible. I don't know. There's no fooling around on airplanes anymore. If you've flown recently, you realize everything since 9/11. You can't tell a joke on an airline, and it's going to get you in trouble.
Right.
There's just no, you're upset because they didn't bring you salt and pepper or they don't serve peanuts anymore. Good luck complaining, because here's how it works. You're like, excuse me, I can't believe you guys don't do peanuts anymore. Boom, you're duct taped to the seat. You're immediately duct taped to the seat. They turn the plane around and take you back in where you're arrested and shamed in front of everyone. This guy on an airplane, on an American Airlines flight, hacked into the intercom and grunted and moaned the entire trip. So you're hearing a grunting and moaning sound coming from the speaker system the entire trip. No one could figure out what it was. It was this guy pulling a prank. Here is what it sounded like, and once discovered, how the crew reacted.
Ladies and gentlemen, we realize there is an extremely irritating sound coming over the public announcements. The flight deck is trying to troubleshoot, trying to turn it off, so please be patient with us. We know this is a very odd anomaly, and none of us are enjoying it, so we do appreciate your attention just for a few more moments until we figure out how to turn it off. Thank you.
Was he on the plane?
He's on the plane. And how about the
That's good.
How about the flight attendant saying, just so you know, we're not doing it.
Yeah.
Well, that's good news. But the fact that somebody could hack in and get into the intercom system, and he had the guts to do this, because eventually, I believe he had to be caught. I don't know. It doesn't say through the rest of the story.
Well, and the people around him could probably hear him doing this.
Right.
Christine, that was my thought. How does somebody not sitting behind this guy go, stewardess, or you can't say that anymore, right? A flight attendant. It's the guy over here who keeps making that noise.
I got to look deeper into this story because it's just in my feed and it has the audio. But I'm going to dig in a little deeper because I wonder, is it someone who was on the plane? I don't know. It doesn't say in this story. Is it possible he remotely hacked in?
Oh,
it's saying
that's
that he
scary.
hacked in. Right. That in itself would be incredibly scary, right?
It would seem to me, though, if he was off the plane, he would be free to say all kinds of off-the-wall things and not get caught.
You're right.
So, but we don't know. We don't know.
I don't know, but I'm going to look in further. Christine, see if you can find that in your feed.
Yeah, I was looking, and it says that this is now becoming a recurring thing.
Oh, boy. Well, that's great news, right? If they can hack into the intercom, what else can they hack into? That makes you a little nervous, flying. Got a break. Coming up, Christine has news along with Fox News, top of the hour. Monday morning, we have a busy rest of the show, so make yourself ready. We're back in a bit at WIBX.
Hi, this is Scott Hayes.
And this is Jill Hayes from New York Sash.
Honey, there's a lot of folks out there right now that could use a makeover.
What? Honey, you can't say that. You shouldn't say that.
No, not a personal makeover, honey. Their bathroom. They could use a bathroom makeover from New York Sash. It's our annual bathroom makeover sale. Right now, you can get 20% off your New York Sash acrylic bathroom system. It's the best price on a bathroom we offer all year.
Oh, okay. Well, that makes sense. It's the makeover everyone can enjoy. A New York Sash bathroom. Our installers will give you a whole new look in just a couple of days, with no mess, no maintenance, and no worries with our lifetime warranty.
Your bathroom will never look better. You can visit our showroom on Oriskany Boulevard in Whitesboro. Call us or lock in your discount right now online at NewYorkSash.com. Get 20% off your new bathroom.
And let our family take care of your family for less.
Sometimes my inner me wishes it could have a do-over. I mean, I wish I'd traveled more. I wish I'd never cut my bangs. I even wish I hadn't chosen the bank I did.
Well, some do-overs are easier than others. You should make the switch to Adirondack Bank. They're a local bank with friendly people and competitive products. I just opened a hometown checking account. There's no fees or minimum balances, and I even get online banking and mobile banking.
Well, switching to Adirondack Bank really does sound like the do-over I need. Oh, but I still wish I'd never gotten that spring break tattoo.
That one is harder to fix.
Make the switch and open your hometown checking account today. There's a minimum deposit of $25 to open the account. Visit your local branch or online at adkbank.com for more information. Member FDIC. WIBX 950, Utica, Rome.
It's now Hurricane Ian. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News, and it's going to get bigger and stronger fast.
In terms of the next 12 hours, we're going to see some rapid strengthening.
Dave Roberts of the National Hurricane Center says after hitting Cuba, Ian will take a turn as a major hurricane toward Florida's Gulf Coast, anywhere from Fort Myers up to the Panhandle.
People do seem to be heeding advice from state and local officials to stay vigilant and to stay prepared. We're seeing plenty of folks throughout the state making stops at hardware stores to get essentials like plywood so they can board up windows and doors to protect their properties. People are snatching up batteries and, of course, lots of generators in case they lose power. We're also seeing water go really quickly at supermarkets. A lot of shelves are empty.
Fox's Charles Watson in the Florida Keys. A shooting rampage at a school in Russia in the city of Izhevsk. 13 people were killed, 7 of them children. The gunman also wounded 21 others. Most of them were kids, too, until he shot and killed himself. This comes amid protests in Russia against Vladimir Putin, ordering up 300,000 reserve troops to be called into service. And Ukraine's president, Volodymyr Zelensky, tells CBS Face the Nation.
They're forcing people to fight, people from the temporarily occupied territories. I see other threats.
He's urging those Russian fighters to surrender when they come to Ukraine. Zelensky's also upset Russia's forcing people in territory it took by force to vote in referenda to leave Ukraine and become part of Russia. Vice President Harris is in Japan to attend tomorrow's funeral for former Prime Minister Shinzo Abe, who was assassinated in July.
A senior administration member says other goals of the trip, which also involves travel to Korea, include reaffirming the United States' commitment to allies and deepening the overall engagement in the Pacific.
Fox's Ryan Schmelz. Elon Musk will be questioned the next few days by Twitter lawyers in a deposition ahead of a trial next month. Twitter's trying to force Musk to follow through on his plan to buy it. The Tesla CEO is trying to back out of the deal. America's listening to Fox News.
Sebastian Gorka here. I'm living a very blessed life as an intelligence analyst, a national talk show host, and author, and I have an amazing family. But like many of us, aches and pains start to interfere with living my best life, even just walking the dog. But I found Relief Factor 3 years ago, a 100% drug-free solution for aches and pains, and now I'm pain-free, and I have my life back. I take Relief Factor every day. Relief Factor can help your body fight the inflammation that causes joint and muscle pain and other aches and pains that come with everyday life. Treat yourself to feeling better, move more, live more, and just enjoy your life more with Relief Factor. Join me and more than 500,000 other Americans. Get started today with your 3-week quick starter pack for just $19.95. Almost 70% of those who order go on to use it more. ReliefFactor.com. That's ReliefFactor.com. Feel the difference with Relief Factor.
Good morning. WIBX 950 AM and 106.9 FM news time is 7:03, 56 degrees. We'll have your full forecast coming up in just 2 minutes. Your news is brought to you by Clinton Tractor, the leader in service. Visit them today at clintontractor.net. Students of one Central New York School District will be learning remotely today. The East Syracuse Minoa Central High School will not be in class. They'll be learning remotely after the district superintendent says the school received a threat of violence today. The threat was posted on social media. It had been called with racist sentiments. No word yet on if security in the building will be increased once students return. Police are asking for help from the public after deputies released the name of a man who was killed in Solvay over the weekend. Investigators say 34-year-old Richard Anderson was hit by gunfire Saturday inside of a home. He was taken to Upstate University Hospital but could not be saved. A suspect left the scene before the sheriff's department could arrive and is still on the loose. The latest data from AAA shows the price of gas is still going down in central New York. The average cost right now for a gallon of regular is $3.74. That's down 12 cents in the past week and 55 cents cheaper than it was this time a month ago. The state average sits at $3.68. That's down 10 cents in the last 7 days. The national average is $3.71. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer is calling for funding to help in the fight against fentanyl abuse. The New York Democrat said he wants federal money to battle the growing threat of rainbow fentanyl, highly addictive pills that look like candy. The $290 million in funding would be used to sustain dozens of overdose response strategy teams. More than 107,000 Americans passed away from drug overdoses last year. Fentanyl is said to be stronger than both heroin and morphine. There's also a national scandal where fentanyl is being placed on dollar bills and coins that are being left in parking lots. Authorities remind folks not to pick those up. Your WIBX Weather Center forecast is brought to you by Clinton Tractor, the leader in service. Visit them today at clintontractor.net. Showers likely, possibly a thunderstorm this afternoon. The high today near 65 degrees. We have an 80% chance of rain. Tonight, a slight chance of showers and thunderstorms, partly cloudy with a low around 50 degrees. Tuesday, showers are likely, mostly cloudy skies with a high near 62. Tuesday night, more showers likely, mostly cloudy skies with a low around 49 degrees. And Wednesday, showers likely, mostly cloudy with a high near 59 degrees. A chance of showers Wednesday night, mostly cloudy with a low around 43. And we do see a sliver of sunshine on Thursday. Right now, 56 degrees. Your temperature brought to you by Clinton Tractor, the leader in service. Visit them today at clintontractor.net. WIBX First News with Keeler in the morning news time is 7:06. Here's Jeff Manaski with sports.
All right, thank you, Christine. The Super Bowl favorite Buffalo Bills, undefeated no more. They suffered their first loss of the season on the road in Miami. 21-19, the final, a bizarre finish. It included a safety. The Bills ran out of time at the end of the first half and at the end of the game. But the Bills now 2-1. The Dolphins, sit atop the division with a record of 3-0.
How about the cramping going on? Like, there was so much cramping. Knox, I have to say something. So the Miami's quarterback ends up getting pounded in the head. I mean, he fell backwards. His head clearly smashed against the turf. So now he's back in the game. I don't know how that could happen. Secondly, I almost feel like Knox took a really hard hit. But if you watch them as they came, and I could be wrong here, but it's almost like they treated him as if it was a cramp. But if you remember, he stayed off for quite a long time. I think he took a hit to the head, too. And they didn't want it to be known that it was a hit to the head because then they would have had to have gone through a concussion. I wonder if that's going on, right? Just to keep him in the game. He was out for a long time.
The Jets were crushed yesterday. They ended up getting blown out. I thought the Jets were catching some momentum. They were playing the Bengals. There was a fight on the sideline with one of the Jets players and one of the assistant coaches. Anyway, 27-12 the final as Joe Burrow and the Bengals picked up their first victory. The Giants look to move to 3-0 tonight as they host the Dallas Cowboys on Monday Night Football. You can hear the game right here on WIBX 950. Also this weekend, the Ravens beat the Patriots 37-26. The Philadelphia Nagels blowing out Washington, a final of 24-8. If the Giants can get a victory, they would move to the top of the division, tied with the Eagles with a record of 3-0. Also, Syracuse, a big win on Friday night. They moved to 4-0. I was the only member of this show who's in town who wasn't at the game on Friday. You guys had a good time.
I think the Dome it's a completely different experience now with the new scoreboard and the new lighting and everything. It was pretty cool.
Rough weekend for Colgate as they were crushed by Holy Cross, but go ahead. Our man Smitty was there. Not a great day.
35-10. Holy Cross is really good. They're predicted to win the Patriot League again this year, and Nick Santiago was on the sidelines.
Danny Santiago.
Danny Santiago, sorry.
Of course, the Proctor kid who, when we talked to his dad, he ended up going to Holy Cross, so he was at Colgate playing this weekend. Baseball, the Mets won on Sunday. They took 2 of 3 from Oakland. They lead the Braves by a game and a half.
A lot of runs scored this weekend.
Yeah, they did score a lot of runs.
Both teams.
The Yankees completed a sweep for their 7th straight victory. They beat the Red Sox last night on Sunday Night Football. And just 8 games left now for the Mets as we wind down the regular season. This is a great time of year, I feel like, for sports. I guess it would be every year, but maybe I'm more excited because the Mets are relevant. The Giants are relevant. There's some things going on here. Syracuse looks good. They're in a top 25 now.
I just, it's crazy. We're not used to it.
I mean, I've become accustomed the last couple of years. The Bills are legit.
Even with the Bills, I feel like I'm they got to get healthy here. You got 11 starters out yesterday. That's going to be a problem. And the Giants play tonight. The Giants have looked promising. So
fingers crossed Saquon Barkley looks good again. So
here we go. Let's see what comes of all of this. And Aaron Judge, you feel like are they playing today as well? It just feels like it's a matter of time he's going to hit that very historic home run. But he'll be doing it on the road now as the Yankees spend the rest of their regular season on the road. Got a break. We'll come back. Is there an indicator people who snore are more likely to get cancer? There is one study out there, and we'll talk about it coming right up. 710 at WIBX.
Injury crash, 2-door, 4-door, SUV, motorcycle, big truck. At William Attar, we're New York's largest motor vehicle accident firm, helping those injured in New York State. If a crash caused the death of a loved one, call William Attar, the largest motor vehicle accident firm in the state. Call William Attar, 315-444-4444, South State Street, Syracuse, 315-444-4444.
You wash your hands and brush your teeth, but what about your nose? How do you clean your nose? With Navage. Navage pulls saline in one nostril, around the back of the nose, and out the other nostril, flushing out allergens, mucus, dirt, and germs, and it's why nose cleaning is the next evolution in daily personal hygiene. People try Navage for lots of reasons: sinusitis, allergies, snoring, things that make it hard to breathe through your nose. But over time, they also find that cleaning their nose makes them feel better, a lot better. Nearly 3 million Navage users have written more than 100,000 reviews, averaging 4.7 stars, saying things like, "Best product I've ever used," and "Amazing, I love my Navage." That's because Navage helps you breathe better, sleep deeper, and snore less. But the biggest payoff is improved health. Here's the key point. Navage is good personal hygiene, and it's going to help you stay healthier. At Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, Rite Aid, Bed Bath, Target, and online. Navage, Navage. Clean nose, healthy life.
At EasyCater, food for work is our thing. Maybe that's why we get orders from 93% of Fortune 500 companies. So what's up with the other 7%?
Food is late again.
You should have ordered through EasyCater. Professionally delivered right on time.
EasyCater, huh? Have a pen?
No, I don't have a pen. Does anyone have a pen?
Nah, I'll remember.
Why don't all companies order through EasyCater? Who knows? Order 24/7 from over 95,000 restaurants on EasyCater.com. EasyCater, food for work. That's our thing.
WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM. This is Keeler.
All right, it's 7:12. Another rainy day on the way. And then some rain tomorrow, and then some rain on Wednesday, and then things maybe will clear up a little bit. Hopefully, it's going to be a really nice October, which is just around the corner. Dr. Hal Stewart, there is a story out there that says that people who snore are more likely to get cancer. And he's on the line with us right now. Doc, good morning.
Good morning. How you doing?
Good. So tell me about this. Where is this coming from?
Well, we've known this in the profession, for years. Just more and more research, supports our thought process on this. But when you snore, it's not snoring per se that puts you at risk for cancer. It's the reason that you're snoring. And people that snore have an obstructed airway. Snoring is not normal. It's common, but it's not normal. It's not healthy. It means there's an obstruction in the airway. If there's an obstruction in the airway, which gets worse, particularly at night when we're sleeping and we go into deep sleep and our muscles relax, then we snore. We have a depleted oxygen to the brain. We don't go through our normal sleep cycles. And the studies have shown that people that have less than 6 hours per sleep at night are twice as likely to have some kind of cancer during their lifetime if this is a regular ongoing problem with them. And snoring contributes to lack of sleep.
Interesting. So they're saying that it fuels the lack of oxygen fuels tumors, blood clots, and loss of brain cells.
Yes, when we don't have the proper amount of oxygen, we're going to be in a state of inflammation at the cellular level. That's why a lot of these athletes, that have injuries, they put them into a chamber to infuse oxygen into the localized area, but also into the blood in general. And our body knows what to do when we get the proper amount of oxygen. But if we don't, then we go into kind of it just since the whole system it imbalances the system.
Yeah.
And we stay in a state of chronic cellular inflammation, and that's where cancer is born. It's inflammation.
Yeah. Interesting.
Are you talking about a hyperbolic chamber?
Yeah, that's why the athletes they'll put them in. And, that will just jumpstart the healing process.
The first time I ever heard of that in my life was when Terrell Owens broke his leg when he was still playing, and they put him in. He was sleeping in a chamber every night with his leg in a cast, and the idea was they were going to have him ready to play by the Super Bowl, and he played well. Again, a rushed return with a broken leg. So it's interesting. Are these becoming more common, or are these actually being prescribed? That was the first time to that point in my life I had ever heard of a hyperbolic chamber and the benefits of it.
No, they're not being prescribed for sleep issues. That's something that's used for an acute situation where you want to heal really quickly. I mean, if somebody went to a hyperbolic chamber every day, that would not make up for proper sleep, because not only is it a depletion in oxygen, but it's also getting out of your regular sleep cycle. And the brain's like a computer; it needs to reboot. And if it doesn't reboot, we've all had computers that we leave them on for 2 or 3 weeks without turning them off, and they get all kinds of crazy things going with them. And that's kind of how the brain works with the brain over a period of time. If you get one night of bad sleep here or there, that's no big deal. But cumulatively, if we're not getting proper sleep and the right amount of sleep every night, that's where the problems start.
How much does being overweight play a role?
Well, it plays a big role. It's not the only cause. I've got a lot of patients that are very fit, but they've got sleep disordered breathing. But being overweight is one of the causative factors or the contributing factors to it for some people. And for some people, if they lose weight, that's all they need. But the majority of people, it's a multifactorial. It's weight combined with other things as well.
Okay, interesting stuff. One more reason to take care of that sleep apnea. Dr. Hal Stewart, thank you so much.
Absolutely. Okay, thank you. Have a great day.
You do the same. Thank you. I just can't stand the mask thing. You've got the hoses all over the place. I get twisted up in them, and I struggle with the mask. Some people swear by it, like they have just the greatest night's sleep ever. It's transformed their sleep.
You also have a bit of claustrophobia too, right? So I
have a problem with that too. Yeah,
that would make me feel
I'm a
trapped.
God-blessed mess. Is what we're saying here.
But now don't they have? There's like a little thing that you just put over your nose.
I couldn't use that one. I tried to use that one too.
No, Christine,
struggled with it.
That is, I actually looked into that. That is the equivalent of, it's a prop, it's a gimmick. It does not work. I saw somebody go, try multiple.
What she's talking about, though, you're talking about something different than what she's talking about. But go ahead.
Are you
It's
talking
called
about
a micro CPAP or something, and it's really
They have a smaller CPAP that
that you
connects.
just put in your nose?
No, you don't put it in your nose. It goes over the nose.
No, it goes in your nostrils.
What she's talking about is,
Yes, it does. Yeah. But and then it goes. I had one of those, and I couldn't handle that either. You open your mouth, and this is what you get. The air starts blowing out your mouth. It's like, oh, you can stop that. Just shut your mouth. Yep, you're right.
On a lot of news,
I couldn't handle that either. Because they're like, if the mask bothers you, we'll give you this, and then it has the two little things that block your nostrils, and they blow right in there.
On a lot of news sites, you'll see it as like a little advertorial, a little ad on the
That's
bottom.
different.
Yeah, don't waste your money on that thing. I thought to myself, oh, this is
perfect. And if you buy this, we'll also give you this.
Yes.
And that's not all. I mean, you kind of get the feeling at that point, if that's how they're selling you a piece of medical equipment, you'd be better off putting the Ronco record on your face or something that's being sold out there. Some of this garbage they're trying to sell. All right, coming up, we'll talk with Dave Fontaine of Utica University, the athletic director there, and the new athletic programs being added. We'll speak with him. And sleep divorce, as long as we're going down this sleep road here this morning, it's a thing. Not necessarily, and think about maybe the sleep divorce prevents the real divorce. They say it's possible. We'll speak with Kevin Fear about that coming up. 720 at WIBX.
I'm Mary Finnegan, and I'm running for Oneida County Clerk. I'm the youngest of 7, and we still live locally. My dad was a World War II veteran, and my 95-year-old mom remains the backbone of our family. As a single mom working 2 jobs, I decided to run for public office and kept the job of town clerk in Whitestown for the last 17 years. Now I want to take that experience and serve the people of Oneida County. In Whitestown, I pushed to modernize the town offices and submitted and won a grant that brought our records department into the 21st century. All of this, and we still kept the public's information safe. If you elect me clerk, I'll do the same for Oneida County. I also understand the importance of customer service, working well with others, and recognizing people's strengths. If elected, the DMV will be my top priority. Designated lines, DMV navigators, and good old-fashioned customer service is where I'll begin on day 1. If you need a county clerk who can hit the ground running on day 1, then I am the right person for the job. I'm Mary Finnegan, and I would so appreciate your vote this November for Oneida County Clerk. Paid for by the Friends of Mary Finnegan.
Let's face it, credit cards are pretty much a necessity.
New tires for the car? Here's my card.
I order takeout, use my card. And most of us just accept the high interest rates credit cards charge as a necessary evil.
What are you going to do?
Get a low fixed-rate credit card consolidation loan from Lightstream from $5,000 to $100,000 and pay off those credit card balances. Apply online, and you could get your money as soon as the day you apply. The average credit card company charges over 19% APR. But with Lightstream, you can get a fixed rate as low as 5.73% APR with autopay and excellent credit.
Now I can pay off my high-interest credit cards and save money with a much lower rate.
Apply today at lightstream.com/radio and get an additional interest rate discount. That's lightstream.com/radio. Lightstream.com/radio.
Subject to credit approval. Rates range from 5.73% APR to 19.99% APR and included 0.5% autopay discount. Lowest rate requires excellent credit. Terms and conditions apply and offers are subject to change without notice. Visit lightstream.com/radio for more information.
Every search you make, every click you take, they'll be watching you.
Are you tired of being tracked online? There's a simple solution. DuckDuckGo. It's an all-in-one privacy app with a built-in private search engine, web browser, one-click data clearing, email protection, and more, all for free. Download the app today and get the most comprehensive privacy protection with the push of a button. DuckDuckGo. Privacy simplified.
At EasyCater, food for work is our thing. Maybe that's why we get orders from 93% of Fortune 500 companies. So what's up with the other 7%?
Food is late again.
You should have ordered through EasyCater. Professionally delivered right on time.
EasyCater, huh? Have a pen?
No, I don't have a pen. Does anyone have a pen?
Nah, I'll remember.
Why don't all companies order through EasyCater? Who knows? Order 24/7 from over 95,000 restaurants on EasyCater.com. EasyCater, food for work. It's our thing.
Adirondack Home Furniture introduces their new exclusive mattress line from Gold Bond Mattress Company, the Adirondack Home Furniture Collection. This is Bill Keeler. 5 different models. The mattress is flippable, comes in pillow top, plush, firm, and extra firm, starting at $5.99 in stock and ready for you to sleep on tonight. And Adirondack Home Furniture has a huge selection of rustic furniture in stock. Adirondack Home Furniture, 315-738-7817, Riverside Center, North Utica, or AdirondackHomeFurniture.com.
You wash your hands and brush your teeth, but what about your nose? How do you clean your nose? With Navage. Navage pulls saline in one nostril, around the back of the nose, and out the other nostril, flushing out allergens, mucus, dirt, and germs, and it's why nose cleaning is the next evolution in daily personal hygiene. People try Navage for lots of reasons: sinusitis, allergies, snoring, things that make it hard to breathe through your nose. But over time, they also find that cleaning their nose makes them feel better, a lot better. Nearly 3 million Navage users have written more than 100,000 reviews, averaging 4.7 stars, saying things like, "Best product I've ever used," and "Amazing, I love my Navage." That's because Navage helps you breathe better, sleep deeper, and snore less. But the biggest payoff is improved health. Here's the key point. Navage is good personal hygiene, and it's going to help you stay healthier. At Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, Rite Aid, Bed Bath, Target, and online. Navage, N-A-V-A-G-E. Clean nose, healthy life.
WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM. This is Keeler.
Alrighty, 724 in studio right now is Dave Fontaine, the athletic director at Utica University. Good morning.
Good morning.
Busy weekend for, busy sports weekend all over, but UC, or I should say...
Just Utica.
Utica, I think that's the way to go.
Yeah.
For Utica, this was a very busy and successful weekend.
Yeah, we had a great weekend. Football won on the road against Union. That was a great win for us. Field hockey won on the road against W&J. That's a long trip. That's like an 8-hour trip for them.
Yeah.
Volleyball beat Nazareth for the first time in program history. So women's soccer won. It was a really good weekend. It's nice when we win.
And you recently made an announcement. This is to me, this is a big deal. I wrestled all through high school, and when schools began dropping wrestling, it became, it was kind of sad, right? Because it's such a huge sport, very dedicated athletes.
Yeah.
But it had to do with making sure there were enough women's sports, I believe. So they were dropping certain programs, and wrestling was, when Syracuse dropped wrestling, that was a big deal.
Yeah, I remember that. I think Jason Gleesman was part of that program, and he was an Olympic athlete.
And
so
Gene Mills, and just the history that came out of that school.
Sure.
But everybody seemed to be dropping it, and now you're coming back with it, and other sports.
Yeah, we made an announcement, was last Thursday, that we would add 3 sports, men's and women's wrestling and women's gymnastics. So, we thought about this about a year ago, and, what are ways to certainly attract more student athletes in an area that might be a little underserved. And men's and women's wrestling and women's gymnastics seems to be realistic for us. So we made that announcement last week. We're really excited. A lot of buzz around it.
Yeah.
I was on a wrestling podcast and got a lot of positive feedback from people within and outside of our campus. So it's an exciting time for Utica University. Now we'll go from 26 to 29 intercollegiate athletic programs.
Wow. Can I just say that women's wrestling, that's going to be really big just because there are fewer programs, but they're big programs around the country.
There are, and there's about 34,000 women across the country, and I believe New York State has actually the 3rd largest population of female wrestlers behind California and Texas.
Wow.
So, it'll be, I think we'll have a pretty diverse roster. So it'll look like men's and women's ice hockey because there's not a lot of people right in this area to attract from. So, we'll hire a coach and ask them to go recruit and cast a wide net and for all of our sports.
And then gymnastics, that's a big deal too.
Yeah, right down the street from us is Valley Gymnastics. That'll be our home for training. We'll host meets on campus in the main athletic center. We've done that before for Valley Gymnastics, so we know that it can be done, and we're looking forward to that. And there's again, dedicated athletes. Those women are so dedicated and good in the classroom as well, which is really important.
Yeah.
An odd question, because I know you're looking for coaches now. When you make the decision when the university makes a decision, we're going to go forward and we're going to launch these programs. It came obviously well before Thursday, but the search for coaches doesn't come until the announcement happens. Do you have to do that, or was there a search on the way before that?
No, we wanted to make that announcement first. There's a lot of I's to be dotted and T's to be crossed, and then we advertised for the job right when we said we would. So on Thursday, we opened up the advertisement for those 3 positions, and we certainly have interest and have applicants. So that's an exciting time ahead of us to get people to campus, interview them, get them underway as soon as possible so we can recruit to have a team for the 23-24 academic year. So that's our plan. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, you will have a program in place in less than a year, so there's a lot of work to be done. In making the announcement, President Casamento said women's wrestling and gymnastics was identified as an emerging sport for women by the NCAA. And then I think the state also identified at least one or both of them as an emerging sport for women as well.
Wrestling.
Oh, wrestling,
Women's wrestling in New York State. So they'll have a New York State championship in wrestling. So that's a great timing for us, right?
Absolutely.
So we'll be another state that has it. I think there's like 34 states that have a championship. Yeah. So good timing. And we're really excited about it. The staff is excited about it. And anything we can do to grow enrollment and do it through student athletes is great. Like I said, we have 700 student athletes and currently, now 29 sport teams. So great credit to all of our coaches who actively recruit and retain those student athletes. They go out there and they're looking at talent and getting kids attracted to come to Utica. There are options out there, as we know.
Yep.
So, Utica becomes a really good option for those athletes that want to continue their sports careers.
But how this program, the athletic program at Utica, has grown over these years.
It's been amazing. I had mentioned this many times. I'm an 89 grad. I remember when we had 12 sports, a couple hundred student athletes, and now we have 29 sports. We'll be close to 800 student athletes after next year and years to come. We have one of the largest air-supported structures in North America in the Dome. We have Gaetano Stadium, and if I may just say, to the Gaetano family and the passing of Mr. Gaetano, our hearts and prayers are with you.
Big part of this community and lived to be 99 years old.
Yeah, and what a great family. So we'll miss Mr. Gaetano for sure. But we just opened up Pioneer Field. We have multiple residence halls and academic buildings, the Welcome Center, the Science Building, the Construction Management Building, all built recently. So President Casamento's done an awesome job, and she's retiring in July, so we'll definitely miss her, and we'll see what the next chapter brings. But it's exciting.
I remember, and I think Smitty does too, Utica College when they first launched the football program. and Adam the Bull was doing the games here on IBX. And I the program is outstanding. Now 4-0, getting ready to celebrate homecoming this weekend, but I can't tell you how many times I'd be in here on a Saturday, and we'll head to break with the Pioneers trailing 56-3. It's like, man, but that program has come such a long way. It happens at the beginning, but just a lot of memories. When you mentioned Coach Kemp, I'm like, wow, I haven't heard that name in a long time.
Yeah.
It was when board op in Utica College.
Yeah, I can remember going over to Donovan for our non-varsity season and bringing teams back to campus on a bus to meet in the athletic center during halftime, then bringing them back. It's different. It's great to have a point of reference because you have a great appreciation from where we were and where we've come.
Right. Absolutely.
Okay, so it's going to be interesting to watch these new programs kick off. I think they're going to be enormous programs.
Yeah, we're excited.
Yeah. All right. Dave Fontaine, thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
We'll break and get back. News coming up in a second, and then we'll talk about this sleep divorce thing. It might be in everybody's future here, believe it or not. 7:32 at WIBX.
Montessori Preschool at Notre Dame Elementary School was voted #1 in the Observer Dispatch's Best of the Best. Enrollment for this year is still open, so apply now to reserve a place for your child. Montessori at Notre Dame Elementary School is for children 3 to 5 years old and follows the educational principles of Maria Montessori. Our teachers and assistants work one-on-one and in small group instruction to help children develop their potential in an engaging environment, inspiring creativity, better self-discipline, and self-correction and assessment. At Montessori at Notre Dame Elementary School, language, art, science, math, and geography are all part of the curriculum. In Montessori classrooms, children make creative choices in their learning, while the classroom teachers offer age-appropriate activities to guide the process and help children become lifelong learners. Enrollment is still open, so apply now. For more information, call 315-724-5118, extension 35, or visit NotreDameUtica.org. That's NotreDameUtica.org.
The dollar is in grave danger as Russia and China recruit more nations into their anti-dollar alliance known as BRICS. If this continues, how much longer until the dollar is worthless? Stephen K. Bannon here. I urge you to get Birch Gold's free info kit on safeguarding your savings into a gold IRA. To get your free copy, text the word safeguard to 989898. With inflation continuing to explode, it's critical you take action today. Text safeguard to 989898 right now.
WIBX First News with Keeler in the morning. News time is 7:33. Right now, 57 degrees. We'll have your full forecast coming up in just 2 minutes. Your news is brought to you by New York State Oasis. Hiring a person in recovery can change their lives and yours. If you're a business owner, you might be eligible for tax credits as well. Visit oasas.ny.gov for more information. The House committee investigating the January 6th attack on the U.S. Capitol is back with another public hearing this week. Members of the Democrat-led panel have not announced the topic yet, but confirm the hearing will take place on Wednesday afternoon. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis calling on folks in the Sunshine State to prepare for what could turn out to be a major hurricane. Ian is no longer just a tropical storm. It could reach Category 1 hurricane strength overnight. The U.S. is warning Russia of catastrophic consequences if it were to use nuclear weapons in Ukraine. Secretary of State Antony Blinken told CBS The 60 Minutes that Washington has sent private messages to Moscow after Russian President Vladimir Putin hinted last week that nuclear arms could be on the table to defend Russia. Blinken said that kind of loose talk is dangerous and the consequences could be horrific. The Justice Department must provide electronic copies of material seized from former President Trump's Florida home by Monday. It's only for documents labeled classified, according to the special master. Trump's attorneys must say whether the former president is asserting attorney-client privilege or executive privilege, or whether the document is a person or presidential record. Officials in eastern Canada assessing the damage left by post-tropical cyclone Fiona over the weekend. Areas in and around Nova Scotia were slammed by heavy rainfall and hurricane-force winds. As of yesterday, hundreds of thousands of residents remained without power. And the NFL is confirming Rihanna will be headlining the Super Bowl halftime show next year. On Sunday, Rihanna shared an Instagram post with just her tattooed arm in the air holding a football with the NFL shield. The league followed up with a tweet with the same picture. Super Bowl 56 takes place at State Farm Stadium on February 12th, 2023 in Arizona. Your WIBX Weather Center forecast is brought to you by Cliff's Local Market. They keep you going. Showers likely and possibly a thunderstorm this afternoon with a high near 65 degrees. A chance of showers and thunderstorms later tonight, partly cloudy with a low around 50. More showers likely on Tuesday, mainly in the afternoon, mostly cloudy with a high near 62 degrees. And showers likely, mostly cloudy Tuesday night with a low around 49. Your temperature is brought to you by Clinton Tractor, the leader in service. Visit them today at clintontractor.net. 56 and overcast right now. WIBX 950 AM and 106.9 FM news time is 7:36.
Hey, the official coffee of the Keeler in the Morning radio program is from Daylight Donuts in New Hartford. Chuck, Sedella, and everybody over there, make sure that drive-through is fast. In and out, and you are on your way. It's where Chuck holds court during the week. All of the important issues of the world are talked about inside Daylight Donuts. Free Wi-Fi, of course. Fresh bagels every morning, fresh donuts every morning as well. It's Daylight Donuts. Try one of their lattes, like 10 to 15 different flavors, including pumpkin. 7:37. Let's do, Davey, our free money question of the day. It's a chance for somebody to walk away with $106.90 and some really cool consolation prizes as well. I don't know if you know, but 72 Tavern and Grill has reopened at the Adirondack Bank Center. Hockey's just around the corner, so it's wide open again. Davey, let's go with caller number what here?
Caller 4.
Caller number 4. Your chance to win $106.90. Great question for today. And we'll do the lifeline this morning. If you're not comfortable with the topic and you want either Manaski or Davey to take it, you can do that. You just have to rely on their answer.
Listen, if you go to 72 and you get the trash can nachos, I can help you with those. Your trivia question, I probably can't help you. I'm just being honest.
You never know. You never know.
You never know.
You can use a lifeline if you like. Davey's doing it right now, 315-736-0186. We'll come right back with it. Then Kevin Fear on sleep divorce. What is it, and how does it prevent real divorce? Believe it or not, it's a thing. It's next to WIBX.
Once again, the Good News Center is proud to present the annual Flags for Heroes, honoring active military, veterans, and first responders. Hi, this is Judy Hauk, Executive Director of the Good News Center. We are proud to present our 8th annual Flags for Heroes, with all proceeds benefiting Citron's military program. Here's Jackie Warmoth, Vice President of Citron's Clinical Development.
Our veterans are struggling, and they need to be listened to. And when you listen to them, a lot of times they have the answers, and you just need to help them get to their next goals.
Sponsor your flag today and be a part of this beautiful tribute displaying 1,000 American flags along Utica's Memorial Parkway, November 2nd through the 13th. Honor your hero for their courage, sacrifice, and dedication to our country. Take time to walk the field of flags and be a part of the ceremony on November 5th at 3:30 at the Parkway Center. Call us today at 315-735-6210 or log on to thegoodnewscenter.org. 315-735-6210 or log on to thegoodnewscenter.org.
Hey, Pete, how's business? It's great. Foot traffic's still way down, but more people are finding me online. Nice. How'd you pull that off? Well, the first thing I did was go to mylocalcustomers.com to see exactly how many searches there were for businesses like mine. So I guess there were a lot? Yeah, there were hundreds of local searches every month. So after I saw that, they helped me position my business online to get in front of those customers. That's awesome. I wonder how many people are searching for my services around here. Well, it's quick and easy to get the answer, plus it's free. Just go to mylocalcustomers.com to find out. If there are a lot of searches, you should definitely get in front of them. If there aren't, no harm, no foul.
Go to mylocalcustomers.com for a free local customer analysis that will show you how many customers are searching online for your type of business. It's quick, easy, and free. Visit mylocalcustomers.com. That's mylocalcustomers.com.
Employee onboarding?
Automated.
Customer support?
Automated.
What if you could automate all your company's routine operation tasks and do it easily? Lead management?
Automated.
With Zapier, you can. Zapier is the leader in no-code automation. Connect over 5,000 apps, automate almost any workflow, and streamline your team's performance without hiring a developer and with no coding required. That's right, Zapier's templates make it simple for you to automate anything in minutes, no matter your level of expertise. Zapier eliminates routine tasks and frees your employees to focus on the bigger picture. And with Zapier's advanced security features and annual SOC 2 audits, your data is safe and secure. See why thousands of companies, including Slack, Salesforce, and HubSpot, trust Zapier to automate their businesses.
Even complex tasks?
Automated with Zapier.
Try Zapier for free today at zapier.com/radio. That's zapier.com/radio. Zapier.com/radio.
Are your brakes noisy? Do they vibrate? Is the brake pedal soft? Is your ABS light on? Don't take chances with your brakes. In the Utica area, locally owned Oriskany Garage is going to be your best choice. Quality parts installed by trained and experienced technicians. No tricky upsells, just the work that your car needs done right. All backed by a great no-hassle warranty. Oriskany Garage on Champlin Avenue near Utica College or online at ogtire.com.
Finding good help is hard, but now you can hire with a higher purpose. If you own a business and employ workers in recovery, you can get a $2,000 tax credit. Employment gives people recovering from substance use or other addictions hope and confidence and gives you a hardworking, loyal employee. Hire with a higher purpose. Learn about the recovery-friendly workplace tax credit at oasas.ny.gov. That's oasas.ny.gov. Here for you every step of the way.
WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM. This is Keeler.
Okay, let's go to court in Rome. Ready to take a shot at Hobica's free money question of the day. Joseph and Andrew Hobica, 315-724-1600. And it's $106.90 on the line right now. Hello, court. Good morning.
Hey, good morning, Bill. How you doing?
Good. You ready to go? It almost sounds like Court's coming from like an airplane. The way his phone sounds like, like a pilot.
I'm just entering Utica. I'm on 49 here, so I'm getting a little vibration from the road.
Okay, that'll do it. That'll do it. All right, Court. Here we go. Here is your question. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right, here it is. Pearl Milling Company is the new name for this classic brand. Ready? Go. Pearl Milling Company.
General Mills. I'm guessing.
That's close. I mean, you're in the brand neighborhood. Pearl Milling Company is now it's the replacement for Aunt Jemima's syrup. They call it's now known as Pearl Milling Company syrup. Because they said that the Aunt Jemima had racist history.
Did it?
I guess. I don't know. I'm not going to argue with them about it. However, so now when you get your Aunt Jemima's, it's called Pearl Milling Company. Yeah. All right. Well,
I remember hearing about that, Bill, and actually I believe that woman on the bottle was an actress and was very happy for the gig to be able to make some money.
You are absolutely right. She made a lot of money off the thing. And it was shortly after that Uncle Ben's rice went away. There were others that went away as well. So anyway, you're absolutely correct on that, but the answer wasn't right. 72 Tavern and Grill will give you a $25 gift card. It's back open at the Adirondack Bank Center. So stand by. Davey's going to hook you up.
Hey, thanks, Bill.
All right, Court. Thank you, man. It's always nice. It shows you the intelligence of our audience when, even though they didn't get the exact answer, they knew the entire background right afterwards.
Yeah.
Brilliance, Christine. Brilliance.
And I don't know if do I blame COVID or do I blame the left for being so woke that they canceled black faces off the as the what's the word I want to use, the spokespeople, even though they weren't spokespeople.
I will say though, when you dig into the history of the whole thing, it is kind of it has some stuff, some history there that probably gave it some reasoning. And it really was the company that made the move, not necessarily that it was shamed into making the move. And then Uncle Ben's went away, and so did a couple of others. A couple of other brands went away as well right afterwards. So there you go. There you go. On the line right now is Kevin Fear from Mattress Express. Kevin is doing a new half-hour radio show on the weekends here on Sundays here on WIBX, and it's all about getting the most out of your sleep. And he is on the line right now to talk about sleep divorce. Hello, Kevin. Good morning.
Morning, Bill. It's actually a 1-hour show, 10 a.m. on Sundays.
Okay, nice.
Pillow Talk.
Pillow Talk is the and Kevin.
About sleep.
It is about sleep. And as part of the program, you talk about this thing called sleep divorce. And it's caught everybody's attention. What is sleep divorce?
Yeah, we did a segment on sleep divorce. Surprisingly, according to one study, 1 in 4 couples sleep in separate beds. And a poll showed that 46% of couples surveyed wished they could sleep in separate beds.
Yeah, you obviously polled my wife. So, and a lot of that has to do with, right, the tossing, the turning, the stealing of the covers. Maybe a woman is going through hot flashes, a guy snoring. I mean, there's a million things that can interrupt your partner's sleep, I guess.
Yeah, from what I took from it, there's good and bad reasons to sleep in separate beds.
Yeah.
The good reasons are uncontrollable issues that disrupt your sleep from your partner. Now, I heard a rumor that you wear a CPAP. I wear a CPAP. I hate every minute of it, but it helps me sleep restfully and not disrupt my partner. If people are sleeping in separate beds because they can't get comfortable, there's solutions for that. We sell the number bed by Instant Comfort, where you can elevate each head independently, each foot independently, make each side as soft or as firm as you like independently, have independent massage. So it's like having your own custom bed on each side. And they say elevation of the head can help with snoring. The more peacefully and restfully you can sleep, the longer you're going to stay in the same bed with your partner, right?
I do think that the snoring issue, if you have that sleep apnea snoring issue, if your head is elevated, at least with me, it gets rid of the snoring.
As you guys are saying this, I'm thinking to myself, wait a minute, this is one of the things I haven't done, is trying to elevate
your head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, and aside from having just a regular pillow, that's interesting.
This might be a game changer.
It could be. Yeah, it could very well be.
One of the demonstrations we do in our stores, we have you lay flat on your back on the bed, relax. We say take a deep breath. Remember what that feels like. And then we elevate your head, we elevate your feet. You're comfortable. We say take a deep breath now. And then most people say there's a noticeable difference on how much easier it is to breathe.
Yeah. Weight loss is an issue with this whole thing too. Some people can lose the weight and not have the sleep apnea. Others could be in perfect shape and they have sleep apnea.
Absolutely.
Kind of a weird. See, Kevin, I had one, but don't wear it. I can't. I hate it, and I'm sure you feel the same way. I loathe it. I get caught up in the middle of the night, and et cetera, et cetera.
I fought it honestly for 2 or 3 years. I fought it. I'd wear it off and on. When I finally embraced it and got the right mask and made a decision I was going to wear it, I felt so much better. If I don't wear it now and I wake up, I noticeably different.
Yeah. In terms of being tired?
Just exhausted. You don't sleep as well. And that's why sleep is important. It affects, you spend a third of your life in bed, and it affects everything we do. If you don't get a good night's sleep, you wake up, your mental acuity is not there. You're in a bad mood. You don't perform at your top level for the day. It affects your driving, everything.
Well, we had a guy on earlier this morning, coincidentally this morning, and he's a doctor who claims that people who snore more are more likely to develop cancer. And it's because of that lack of oxygen that really feeds the spread of cancer, whether it be in tumors or what have you. That's a scientific study.
Yeah, you'll continue to not wear yours, right?
I know. Yeah. Well, I'm looking for a new solution.
You got to get past it and wear it.
There must be a better solution out there. I'm looking for it. Just can't seem to find it. Okay, Kevin. So it might be, one of those elevating beds, like the number bed that you're talking about. Although you don't call yours. What is yours called?
Ours is the number bed by Instant Comfort.
Okay, got
it. And you can have an elevated bed without getting a number bed. It's called an adjustable base. You can put up under most mattresses, not all, but most mattresses. And it really, really makes a difference.
I have to say, Kevin, you and I go back many, many years. You're one of the first live commercials that I ever did in my career.
I remember
back when I was on K-Rock, and I believe it was Kevin Fear Insurance at the time.
It was AA&J.
AA&J.
Kevin Fear's father, yes.
AA&J. I still have the T-shirt. As a matter of
The
fact.
coffee mugs?
Yeah. And the coffee mugs as well. I still have a coffee mug. I still have the coffee mug was our Keeler in the Morning coffee mug. On the back side, it was AA&J, and the T-shirt was made, and then I got fired. So there we go. But anyway, I appreciate that. First live endorsement commercial that I ever did was AA&J Insurance.
Wow. We've both been around a long time.
That's the scary part, right? The fact that we're still here is a good thing, I guess.
Yes.
So, all right. Well,
If
congratulations.
anybody wants to try this, we have a store in New Hartford and Commercial Drive in the Hannaford Plaza, Oneida and the Glenwood Plaza.
I feel like we're listening to you on the radio. Oh my God, we are. Yeah, just a little different. Okay, Kevin.
Stop in.
Good deal. Thank you so much.
Good talking to you, Bill.
Have a great day. Kevin Fear with Mattress Express. And that was not a paid segment or anything. It just was. It's very interesting to notice how much sleep can play a role, Christine, in whether it be people's happiness in their marriage.
Right. So it's funny. I was listening in while Davey was producing that segment the other day.
Yeah.
And normally I listen in and nothing catches my attention, but that really caught my attention. And I thought, if it catches my attention, other people. And then I did a search and found all these celebrities are promoting, sleeping separately, sleep divorces, and many are saying that it saved their marriage. So
Prevented the real divorce.
Right. And as someone who, is in that time of life right now, the last thing I want is someone sleeping next to me in bed because I'm so hot, in the middle of the night. So I can understand. Whereas maybe 20 years ago, I would have thought that was scandalous to be sleeping apart. Like that was something Nana and Pop did.
Right. So your
Separate
grandparents,
bedrooms.
it used to be it was the thing. It was a novel thing to actually be sleeping in the same bed.
Right.
And it certainly would never be shown on TV, God
Right.
forbid. Right. Interesting stuff. Over the weekend, a couple things. Albert Pujols became the fourth player to hit 700 home runs.
Albert Pujols, homered earlier tonight, was one swing away from 700 career home runs.
That's...
Pujols sends one in the air. It's deep to left. It's 700. Albert Pujols has joined the 700 home run club.
Who do you think that is?
That's the guy who does Mets radio games occasionally, or did. Smitty, who was that?
No, that wasn't him. Who used to do hockey? He ended up going and doing hockey games. So it used to be
No. That's it's right on the tip of my. It's Ray, not Ray.
Wayne Rendazzo.
Oh, I guess I haven't heard him. You mean do Mets games on the radio?
Yeah.
Okay.
Wayne Rendazzo fills in and does. I thought even this year he was doing them. I don't know why he was doing a Cardinals game.
Because Howie Rose is on. Does he still do the radio for you guys for Mets?
I think
he's
so,
on a
but I thought
limited.
he got
He's on a
sick.
limited schedule like John
Yeah.
Sterling does. He scaled back his traveling because he had a health scare last year.
One more that, and by the way, that's that home run, 700 home runs, joins the 700 club with Babe Ruth, Hank Aaron, and despite the asterisks, which there should be next to his name, Barry Bonds.
Look,
I love the way Davey says, does he call the games for you guys as though you
Right.
guys own the Mets?
Well,
I wish we did.
So he feels that he owns the Yankees. Which, by the way,
Yes.
I was told by Julie that the Yankees game yesterday went only 6 innings because of rain, and Judge probably missed 2 at-bats yesterday.
It's interesting. Look, they were playing the Red Sox Friday night. It seemed like Boston didn't want to pitch to them. I know it was a closer game, so maybe that was why. Maybe they weren't just totally pitching around him, but it was dictated by the situation. Let me say this, though. They have the Maris family at these games now as he tries to break the record. And I was talking to someone about this, and then it played out right on my television screen. I don't know about Major League Baseball officially, but the American League and the Yankees and the Maris family look at Aaron Judge's pursuit of 61 as it's Mark McGuire's pursuit of 61 20 years ago.
Yeah.
He actually talked about it on the Apple broadcast Friday night. well, you know, if you go and you look at these guys and what they were on or maybe what they had in their system, he's openly talking about the fact that in the perspective of the Maris family, they feel like Aaron Judge is about to set the all-time home run record.
And ignoring
Fooey with Bonds and McGuire.
Yeah, I agree.
I find that very interesting because I think until Friday night it hadn't been bluntly said that way. Some people might feel that way.
It's a dirty record. It's a record that involved cheating, and you know it's a shame for Barry Bonds, who really he didn't have to do that. Right?
I don't think he would have broke the record if he didn't do it, but
And
he
that-
still
and
would have
that-
been one of the greatest baseball players of all time.
No doubt about it. And now he won't be in the Hall of Fame because of it. And you know, but you said it. You don't think he would have broken the record had he not done it.
I don't.
So there you go.
I mean, how many fly balls that would have gone to the warning track sailed into the bay out in San Francisco?
Here's Kathy in Rome. Hi, Kathy.
Good morning to everybody.
Good morning.
Well, I have to say congratulations to Syracuse. They're really on the run.
4-0, 25th in the country in the coaches poll. They almost blew that game over the weekend on Friday night, but good teams find a way to win, and they won the game.
Well, that must be why my bad team is 2-2. They're not doing well at all this year.
Yeah. Well, listen, you never know what happens in college football.
And my husband wanted me to call and say congratulations to Christine because they're both a Dolphin fan, and he just loved that game yesterday.
Oh, I'm sure he did.
I was thinking about him yesterday, so tell him thank you and congratulations as well. He's been suffering for a
Great.
long time.
I will. Thank you so much.
Enjoy first place while it lasts. Yes, enjoy.
Yes.
Stop.
Okay,
Oh,
bye-bye.
my goodness.
All right, thank you, Kathy. And then one more I wanted to squeeze in here. This is from our feed this morning, and I don't know if have we investigated this at all? The American Airlines flight where the guy hacked into their intercom system. Did you find anything out about that, Christine?
I have. The only thing that I'm finding out is that it's happening more and more, primarily with American Airlines flights
This is
right now.
crazy.
That is
So
crazy.
so it sounds like they're hacking in from the ground, right?
Right. It sounds like they're hacking in from the
Wow, on their intercom system.
I don't know. I would think that if somebody was hacking in not on the flight, they would say things beyond the grunting and moaning. I thought they grunted and moaned so they wouldn't be picked up on the plane.
Here's what occurred. An American Airlines flight had its intercom hacked by a person who simply, through the entire flight, grunted and moaned. The entire trip. It got so bad that the flight attendant actually went on the intercom to apologize and let everybody know it's not us. Here's the audio and what it sounded like. It's kind of hard to hear.
Ladies and gentlemen, we realize there is an extremely irritating sound coming over the public announcements. The flight deck is trying to troubleshoot, trying to turn it off, so please be patient with us. We know this is a very odd anomaly, and none of us are enjoying it, so we do appreciate your attention just for a few more moments until we figure out how to turn it off. Thank you.
All right, see, that's another example. Someone on the
know.
ground doesn't well, if they've hacked in, maybe they can hear everything.
I think there used to be a thing where you could take your scanner and there'd be a certain frequency where you could hear airplanes. And I don't know, could you hear just the pilot or could you also hear the intercom system? I don't know. I agree with you. Like, it feels like they got to be on the plane, right? We'll talk more about it coming up.
From the Excellus Blue Cross Blue Shield Studio, WIBX 950 Utica Rome, W295DI Utica Rome, your news, talk, and sports leader, Town Square Media Station.
There's hurricane fear in Florida. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. Ian grew into a hurricane this morning and is expected to keep growing.
That's going to be a major hurricane. So this is a big deal. This is a big deal. People need to prepare now because there's not a lot of time.
Fox meteorologist Janice Dean says after hitting Cuba tomorrow, Ian will hit Florida's Gulf Coast later in the week.
This storm actually could sort of crawl up the coast and then hit the panhandle. So that's why I want the whole state of Florida to watch this.
Governor Ron DeSantis has already declared a state of emergency.
Top of mind here for many
many who live in the Tampa Bay area, and just the line of cars that go on for miles, lining up for the 10 free sandbags that people have been able to get, not only in Hillsborough County, but we're talking all over the Tampa Bay area. So we spoke to people who told us they waited more than 3 hours in line for those sandbags. But of course, there are so many other supplies people are going to need.
That's Fox Weather's Nicole Valdez in Tampa. Murder at a school in Russia.
At least 7 children are among the dead after a gunman opened fire in a school in the central Russian city of Izhevsk, about 600 miles east of Moscow. 6 adults died, including teachers and school staff members, and 21 others were hurt at the school, which educates children from 1st to 11th grade.
That's Fox's Tony J. Powers. That gunman is also dead. He ended his rampage killing himself. There have been protests in Russia, angry over leader Vladimir Putin calling up into service 300,000 reserve troops after suffering big losses in Ukraine. National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan tells ABC's This Week.
There are signs that Russia and Putin are struggling badly, and it will be the Russian people ultimately who make the determination about how Russia proceeds.
Now, Vice President Harris has gone to Japan.
Our defense commitments to Japan are ironclad, and we will always remain committed.
America's listening to Fox News.
Hi, Larry Elder here. I never really thought much about how aches and pains can reduce a person's quality of life until pain started keeping me from living my best life. Just a few years ago, using the stairs was difficult because of the back pain. Then I found Relief Factor, a 100% drug-free solution for aches and pains. Within a week, I was on my way back to being pain-free. Now I have my life back. I take Relief Factor every single day. Relief Factor can help your body fight the inflammation that causes joint and muscle pain and the other aches and pains that come with everyday life. Treat yourself to feeling better. Move more, live more, and just enjoy your life more with Relief Factor. Join me and more than 500,000 others. Get started today with your 3-week quick start for only $19.95. About 70% go on to order more because it works for them. Go to ReliefFactor.com to order now. That's ReliefFactor.com. Feel the difference with Relief Factor. ReliefFactor.com.
Good morning, WIBX. First news with Keeler in the morning news time is 8:03. It is Monday, September 26th. Your news is brought to you by New York State Oasis. Hiring a person in recovery can change their lives and yours. If you're a business owner, you may be eligible for tax credits. Visit oasis.ny.gov. That's oasas.ny.gov for more information. 56 degrees right now. We'll have your full forecast coming up in just 90 seconds. Students at one Central New York school will not be in their classrooms today. They'll be learning remotely. The district superintendent for the East Syracuse Manoa Central School District says a threat was received that indicated that there would be violence at the school today. The threat was posted on social media. It had what are being called racist sentiments. There's no word yet if security in the building will be increased once students return. Police are asking for your help after a man was found shot to death over the weekend. Investigators say 34-year-old Richard Anderson was hit by gunfire Saturday inside of a home. He was taken to the hospital but could not be saved. A suspect left the scene before the sheriff's department could arrive and is still on the loose. The latest data from AAA shows the price of gas is still on the decline in Central New York. The average cost for a gallon of regular is now $3.74 a gallon. That's down 12 cents in the past week and 55 cents cheaper than it was this time a month ago. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer is calling for funding to help in the fight against fentanyl. Yesterday, the New York Democrat said he wants federal money to battle the growing threat of rainbow fentanyl, highly addictive pills that look like candy. The $290 million in funding would be used to sustain dozens of overdose response strategy teams. Warnings are also being given to people to not pick up money that's left or found on the street because it might be laced with powdered fentanyl. Over 170,000 Americans passed away from drug overdoses last year. Fentanyl is said to be stronger than both heroin and morphine. Your WIBX Weather Center forecast is brought to you by Clinton Tractor, the leader in service. Visit them today at clintontractor.net. Showers likely and possibly a thunderstorm this afternoon. The high today near 65 degrees. A chance of showers and thunderstorms tonight. Partly cloudy with a low around 50. Tuesday, showers likely mainly in the later afternoon, mostly cloudy with a high near 62. More showers and possibly a thunderstorm possible on Tuesday night with a low around 49 degrees. Wednesday, showers likely, mostly cloudy with a high near 59. A slight chance of showers Wednesday night with a low around 43 degrees, and a sliver of sunshine sneaks into the forecast on Thursday. Your temperature brought to you by Cliff's Local Market. They keep you going. 56 right now and overcast. WIBX 950 AM and 106.9 FM news time is 8:06. Here's Jeff Manaski with sports.
All right, thank you, Christine. And it is Christine Bellino's Miami Dolphins who are currently number one.
Thank you for acknowledging that.
AFC East after a narrow victory over the Buffalo Bills, 21-19. Go ahead.
Enjoy it while it lasts. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, my gosh. I always say congratulations when the Buffalo Bills win.
That's what I just said. Enjoy it. I just said enjoy it. Did I say anything bad? Davey, was there anything wrong with that?
No, but she's a Yankee fan, which is good, too.
Thank you, Davey.
You're welcome.
Stand together.
The Yankees completed a 3-game sweep this weekend as well. We'll get to that in a second. The Bills with some issues at the end of the first and second half. Timing-wise, they ran out of time at the end of the game as they had hoped to set up for a potential game-winning field goal. Anyway, the Bills dropped to 2-1 now on the season. The Cincinnati Bengals beat the Jets. Now both teams are 1-2. Joe Burrow, 3 touchdown passes as they knocked off Gang Green 27-12. The New York Giants look to move to 3-0 tonight when they host the Dallas Cowboys on Monday Night Football. Our radio coverage of the game begins at 7:30. Baseball, the Yankees complete the sweep. They collected their 7th straight win, topping the Red Sox 2-0 in a 6-inning game in the Bronx. Nestor Cortez picked up his 11th victory. The game was shortened by rain. The Yankees, 8.5 games up on the Toronto Blue Jays. The Yankees can clinch the division title with a win tonight in Toronto. Max Scherzer threw 6 innings of 1-run ball. The Mets beat the A's 13-4. Scherzer gave up just 4 hits and struck out 7 on his way to his 11th victory of the season. The Mets still lead the Braves by a game and a half in the National League East. The Mets are off tonight. The Braves will play their quote-unquote extra game. They have 9 to play. The Mets just 8 games remaining in the regular season. Also want to mention over the weekend, Syracuse on Friday night moved to 4-0 with a 22-20 win. The Orange now getting some top 25. They got some votes last week, but now they are 25th in the rankings. I just can't believe that's even possible. But the Syracuse Orange, Utica picked up a victory over this weekend. Unfortunately, Colgate fell to Holy Cross. Smitty, you were at that game. What was the final? 35-10, I think you said?
Correct.
35-10. And Utica product, Danny Santiago, was at the game. Of course, he now plays for Holy Cross.
Anything else? We're good?
I don't think
what a weekend in sports. And now here we are in the final week. I think we go till what? Baseball goes until like next Tuesday or Wednesday.
Wednesday, yep.
So we're coming up on the final week of the regular season in Major League Baseball. New York Sash, and I have to say, the Mets, Yankees are on a winning streak. The Mets playing very well as well, remaining they're a game and a half up. That could either go to 1 game or 2 games after tonight. The Braves play the Nationals, and they kind of have had the Nationals number all season long. So of the Mets. But the Mets play 2 games with the Florida Marlins, and the Marlins have played the Mets very tough.
Yeah, and it seems like they always do in September when the games matter. So
after the Marlins, who do we play? The Braves.
Yes, this weekend's a big series. That's for first place.
3 games with the Braves for first place. And then, will it still matter? They finish up the season. The Mets will finish up with the Nationals. Wow.
Well, Friday, Saturday, Sunday in Atlanta, 3 games to decide the National League East. Although typical Mets fashion, we probably come out of that game with we come out of that series with a 2-game lead, get swept by the Nationals, and lose the division by a game.
I could see it. I could see it. New York Sash is kicking off their bathroom makeover sale where you can get 20% off your dream bathroom modeling project. The New York Sash installers can give your bathroom a whole new look in just 1 day. No mess, no maintenance, no worries with the New York Sash warranty. And 20% off during the bathroom makeover sale. New York Sash tub and shower products never mold or mildew, making it easy to clean and maintain, and it won't chip, scratch, or peel. New York Sash also has a complete line of colors, patterns, and accessibility products that can be customized to any bathroom or budget. The New York Sash bath remodeling solution is affordable, and right now, get 20% off during the bathroom makeover sale. Don't spend another day in that outdated, stained, cracked tub. Call or go online or visit the New York Sash Design Center on Oriskany Boulevard in Whitesboro today.
Cliff's Local Market is proud to be your convenience store that keeps you going. We are locally owned and operated by Clifford Fuel, and we're proud to offer local products like Utica coffee with fresh brewed dark Adirondack, along with a seasonal flavor. At Cliff's, you can find Dippin' Donuts, sauce from It's a Utica Thing, and cheeses from River Rat and Grassy Cow. Cliff's Local Market has your favorite pizza made fresh all day with dough from Utica, made to order subs, wraps, and salads, and other healthy local choices. Cliff's Local Market, we keep you going.
Are you getting a high return on your money in the bank? If not, then bring it over to GPO Federal Credit Union. At GPO, our savings rates are high because we're a credit union and our interest is in our members. You'll fall in love with our rates, 2.40% APY for a 5-year term share certificate, or keep your money liquid with GPO's money market share savings at 0.70% APY. Start building your savings today. GPO has savings products for all generations, from kids' cash savings for youth to retirement accounts for your future. Stop on in to any GPO branch and open your high-interest savings account today to start earning a higher return on your money. CD $1,000 minimum deposit. Money market $2,000 minimum deposit. NCUA insured. Penalty for early withdrawal on term share certificates. Membership eligibility required. Rates subject to change at any time. See branch or gpofcu.com for full details.
Hello, this is Joe Cordell. Cordell & Cordell is a firm that practices family law exclusively. We focus on only one area of the law to maximize our strength and effectiveness as advocates for clients that have everything on the line: their homes, retirement, savings, and most importantly, their children. We're the partner our clients count on. If we can be of help to you, give us a call.
Online at CordellCordell.com, 518-554-0000, 100 Great Oaks Boulevard, Suite 110, Albany, New York, 12203.
You wash your hands and brush your teeth, but what about your nose? How do you clean your nose? With Navage. Navage pulls saline in one nostril, around the back of the nose, and out the other nostril, flushing out allergens, mucus, dirt, and germs, and it's why nose cleaning is the next evolution in daily personal hygiene. People try Navage for lots of reasons: sinusitis, allergies, snoring, things that make it hard to breathe through your nose. But over time, they also find that cleaning their nose makes them feel better, a lot better. Nearly 3 million Navage users have written more than 100,000 reviews, averaging 4.7 stars, saying things like, "Best product I've ever used," and "Amazing, I love my Navage." That's because Navage helps you breathe better, sleep deeper, and snore less. But the biggest payoff is improved health. Here's the key point. Navage is good personal hygiene, and it's going to help you stay healthier. At Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, Rite Aid, Bed Bath, Target, and online. Navage, N-A-V-A-G-E. Clean nose, healthy life.
WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM. This is Keeler.
All right, it's 8:13, and in studio right now is the County Executive, Anthony Pacenti. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Okay, we're right now, and I don't understand this. Christine, you said the national average for gas is like $3.78. The New York average for gas is like $3.63 or something. Right. So we're below the national average. However, in the last few days, the gas price nationally has gone up by a nickel, and we are down by 10 cents. Did I have all that right?
Yeah, I believe you do. It's kind of interesting that we're seeing the national trend is that I don't know, what was it, 3 months straight where we were losing a penny every day? That stopped. It's continued in New York, but nationally it hasn't, and I would imagine that means pretty soon here we're going to buck the trend as well. We're going to start going back up.
Yeah, I would think so. So, County Executive, you have a tax forgiveness at a certain point, at a certain level, after like 4 cents or something?
At $3.
Okay. After $3.
After $3. At $3.
So that means you pay.
We collect up to $3.
Okay.
But when and the idea was when gas was shooting up beyond $3 and into $4 and almost $5, and it actually was $5, I think.
I see. So you'll collect tax.
So we didn't collect for those $2 in that $2 range.
So this forgiveness is you pay tax on up to $3 a gallon.
Right.
After $3 a gallon, you don't pay tax.
You don't pay the county. You don't pay,
don't pay the county
or the
tax.
state tax, really, because
Yeah.
the state did we coincided with them on that.
Did the state do the exact same thing?
They did. Actually, they did. I think, because of their
I thought
also
they
the
just-
excise, they did a little bit more.
Yeah.
I think what it amounted to for them was like a 16-cent reduction in gas prices. And I mean, as where they were. I mean, but by removing their tax and removing some of the excise, I think, are one of the other taxes that they have. So that's where it got them to around 16 cents. And then we figured, by doing the, capping at 3 with gas going up as high as, once you get past 450 and 475, it's almost, you're collecting, at least from the county's point, you're collecting another 8-10 cents plus. So you're going to see a 28 cents saving, give or take, within that range. So
I've wondered through this whole thing, have we really seen that savings at the pump?
Well, that's the great debate, and it always has been. I think it was the great debate, several years ago when, right before I took office, Joe was, Senator Griffith was county executive, and he instituted, that was when gas prices were going crazy back then, and they instituted, I think, in either 05 or 06, and I came in 07 and 08, and we still had the tax cap in because prices were still up high, and that was kept at $2. So we were, and gas was, still kind of in the same, and not in the same, it hadn't surpassed, the real high numbers of 4. I mean, but, and then after a while, I just felt we weren't seeing the savings because in other counties that surrounded us,
right,
they were paying equal or less.
And I think we've seen that.
We've seen that. So
Herkimer didn't do this.
Herkimer and we had this. I was at a county exec meeting last week, and we had this debate again because half of the county execs did it, other half didn't. And we were going back and forth on, well, it doesn't do anything. It's not. It does something. But I just felt that it was a time in which we needed to do something to respond to the consumers and try to keep prices down.
All right. So this will go. The counties will stay in effect
until at the end of November.
At the end of November. Do you see any chance of extending that?
I don't right now. I mean,
prices have certainly come
prices
down.
Are coming down, and so I mean, and it is it is a considerable loss to the county. It does, when you have. In terms of sales tax, at that rate, I mean, and at that, amount, especially when. But again, sales tax was running fairly strong, so I felt that it was, and along with the board, legislators felt that it was, the thing to do at the time. So, but it is a revenue loss.
And it was extra, though, right? I mean, you didn't budget for $5 gas prices to be.
Well, you don't. You don't budget. You really don't budget for anything when it comes to sales tax. It's all based on. It really is an assumption, based on past trends. So you look at the trends of what sales tax runs at, but you never anticipate. Well, gas is going up $5, so we'll boost our revenues up. Or we'll boost our budget.
That's a good point. Chances are. You're not losing any money, really. I mean, you're losing the.
No,
you're
not
losing what you had the year
right,
before.
Right, you're not. And quite frankly, I mean, it's what is called anticipated revenue that then becomes unanticipated, or if it comes in, and if it doesn't, you lost it. Okay. So I'm just saying, in the context of things, there was, there is a projected loss of revenue.
It does sound better calling it a tax cap. Because that's really what it is. So you cap the tax on $3 per gallon.
You cap the tax at 3.
And the state has done something very similar on the state tax, which works out to about 16 cents or so per gallon. And that is in effect until the end of the year?
Yeah, I believe so. I was just talking to Jeff before we went on the air. And I don't know how the state does that because they said the end of the year are, the sales tax quarters. Which, if you're, anybody in business understands this, the quarters do not line up on a calendar year. So the sales tax quarter for the third quarter actually ends, their fourth quarter actually ends on November. The new quarter starts December to March. It's a quirky collection system like everything the state does.
Yep.
So it's kind of confusing, but that's where ours draws the line. Now we have the option within time to, within this time period to decide whether or not to extend or whether to let it expire and just go back.
Tony calls it quirky. He doesn't understand how the state's allowed to get away with it. And I'll just point you back to COVID-19 when, and as a matter of fact, you can occasionally hear this audio clip on our website where it says, yeah, the shipment didn't come, but somehow the state got theirs.
Yeah,
That's how. They always find a way, don't they?
That's true.
Do you have any concern over heating costs? And so that can be a very, very complex issue because it really affects everyone. And it looks like heating costs are going up significantly. So it's going to affect people, their bills at home,
Well, I think,
schools, municipalities.
No question. I mean, that and look for and municipalities.
I can't imagine that's easy building to heat.
My budget has got to be presented in less than 2 weeks. And every time we do this, we always talk about, we still have, we have another part of our budget. We have to pay our gas electric as well, and all of our fuel costs and everything. So, and I'm definitely concerned about that. I'm very concerned about the electricity rates, which I think if you've seen, and I can say this from personal experience, but that's how you see all these things from time to time. Looking at what the energy costs are in terms of not just the cost of electricity, the delivery of electricity. With if you looked at your national grid bills over the last
sometimes the delivery is more
Hey,
expensive.
the summer bills. I mean, I just looked at the last month's bill and my own home, and this last month wasn't 90-degree heat, so the air conditioner wasn't running. The central air wasn't running every day, 12 hours a day or even 24
we got hit
hours
hard in August.
But the prices were exorbitant, and so between electricity and gas, I'm very concerned. I think it's going to be a tough winter, and who knows? The forecasters say it's going to be a harder winter. We'll see. We never know that. I mean, it's just presumed. Or whatever.
Sunday was going to be sunny and 70.
Yeah, that's it. It was.
That didn't work out.
That didn't work out. No, that didn't. So yeah, very concerned about that. And and the question is, what do you do about it?
What do you do about it?
I don't have the answer.
Okay, I was just wondering. Because don't look to us for answers.
I was looking.
But it is our own bill. It was a shocker. This last bill.
Mine too. I was like,
wow.
I don't think I ever paid.
I never paid as high
in a summer month. I mean, it was just pretty. And looking at it, that's when you look at the bill and say, did I miss last month's payment or something here? Or did something happen? Is this a double or whatever? And then go back and look, and the electrical charges were, like I said, almost. I think I want to say 80. For this, because you're not using a lot of gas. I mean, for heat, if you have gas heat, and you're not using that in the summer, other than your
shower
hot water tank or whatever.
Unless you're heating a pool.
Right. Well,
and I have to say that we did not get hit that hard at all because it was warm, so you really weren't running a pool heater all that much in August. But even though it didn't run that much, the bill was up there. I couldn't believe it.
We actually had Smitty call Guinness for maybe the largest residential national grid bill ever. I mean, with the bill that you got hit with, man, it's like double, triple what it's been.
I don't even want to say what our bill was.
It's outrageous. I got mine in the mailbox.
And for practically 2 weeks of the month, we weren't even home. How did I pay that much?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, crazy.
So, can I ask you about SUNY Poly? I want to ask about SUNY Poly.
Sure.
Of course, there was a big announcement about Wolfspeed and their manufacturing plant in North Carolina, 1,800 jobs. Some people around here, and one of your former opponents, Mike Hennessy, he was on the program. He was talking about some concerns.
He was opposed to Wolfspeed the first time, though, too, wasn't he?
He was.
Okay.
He was.
Just to be clear.
Well, he wasn't necessarily opposed to Wolfspeed as much as he said that they were targeting old technology.
Oh, okay.
And I kind of feel like he still was saying a little bit of that.
He kept saying the quantum computing is
but
where
they
the
are
money's
doing. Correct me if I'm wrong. They are doing something up here that's being done only here and nowhere else in the world.
It's the only silicon carbide fab, the world's largest. But I mean, they're the process they developed with that, and don't ask me to explain it, but it is it is what is producing these electric vehicle charging pieces that are chips that that make make the vehicles run and make the charging stations run.
Was this area in the running to maybe get that manufacturing plant that went to North Carolina, and does this at all impact the jobs here?
It does not. I mean, it does not impact the jobs whatsoever. I mean, and or the growth of Wolfspeed here in Marcy. What it, I mean, were we in running? We were in some discussions with it, but at the end of the day, that's where they are, and that's where they, that's their headquarters. So when you look at it, I mean, and you're always disappointed. You're always trying to get the next piece, but I think we're realistic enough to realize that if we're competing against them in which a supply chain piece for what they need next to their main manufacturing plant in that regard in the Carolinas, was hard to argue against it and hard to say that we got cheated. Now, if it goes to Jersey or Pennsylvania or something else, then I could understand everybody's argument about we didn't do our job in that regard, or we didn't push hard enough, or we failed in getting them. But the fact that they're next door to their plant, it's really a hard argument to say we had a shot at it.
His criticism was that it should have been built into the agreement, that if they were going to expand, there was a requirement to expand here. How would you respond to that?
Yeah, I mean, that's really hard to I mean, you're not going to find any company that's going to commit to, that has multiple locations or that has their base of headquarters in another state, that any other expansion's got to take place, where they go. I mean, that's a real hard economic development argument to make, or even, I don't think I've ever seen one in a contract in which you would push a plant or a company. I mean, your first goal is to get what's on the table and what's available. Asking for more beyond the scope of what they, what they're first coming in with is a little dangerous in terms of negotiating tactics.
If that didn't go well, like if they didn't follow through on the additional plant, let's say in this particular, what are you going to do? Sue them, and then what are they going to do? Pick up and leave whatever they've got, right?
I mean,
you don't want to get into a legal battle.
It's just a real hard, it's a real hard argument to make in terms of, especially that industry, because they tend to look at where the marketplace is its strongest in terms of what they need to produce. They tend to look at where they can garner the workforce and what do they want to produce in that particular area. So it's kind of a hard hard argument. Now you're all the benefit is what they have there now and what's growing and adding jobs literally every day. And the fact that we have other bites that can fit up there, and we're still working really hard to do that. So.
Next is on track for hard to believe, but another month and a half.
I
It's going to
can't
be open.
believe it's right around the corner.
Yeah,
well, it's really coming. I mean, and as you drive now, drive by every day, obviously coming to work and seeing it is, and gets a little more refined each day on the exterior, and the inside is really, like I said, going to blow people away. I know the outside does.
Yeah.
So we're close to that.
I had a question on the parking garage, and the fact that it seems like some of the eminent domain is not over yet. Are there parts of it that are not over in terms of how much maybe the property owners are going to get? Because in order to be able to move forward, it has to be
the argument of, or the basis of eminent domain is so it is over. It's over in terms of the property's been transferred to the county, in the court. What's in the court's hands now is, what is the value of that property? And that was always, that was, one of the arguments all along, it was going to come down to that the argument about we need the property, and that was the solid argument walking into the courtroom to say, we have all these pieces in place. This has been contemplated and planned out. And we knew, and that was the argument with the property owners, that, look, the property's going to go. It's a matter of negotiating your price now, rather than let the court do it, because the court can turn around, and who knows what they'll do, and say, well, yep, that's what the appraisal is. That's all you get. Or they can give you a little more. They can give you, but they don't have to give you as much as was offered, in the beginning. So, that's the risk they take on those cases. So, but no, if you've gone by they're working, they're digging. They're still clearing the site, getting ready to prep. Hopefully we can start putting some footings in and getting the basis done.
And then finally, I wanted to ask about the sheriff's department's contract. So this would be the road patrol, right?
Sure.
So one portion has been done.
Well, there's two different bargaining units in the sheriff's office. The corrections
officers.
It's a separate union
Okay.
unto itself that includes corrections
and that deal has been worked out.
That's done. That contract is wrapped up, passed, signed, sealed, delivered.
The road patrol, however, has not.
Road patrol is not.
And what are your thoughts on that?
Well,
and I know that the sheriff's been taking some heat on that issue from.
Yeah, and look, it's not a matter. I mean, we say this all the time. We don't negotiate in the public,
right?
In the public
right.
scope. But I will say, the sheriff is taking unfair heat on that. Because this is, the other point here, and the sheriff fights for his officers every day with me, and I say fights. I don't mean that in the negative way. I mean, he is like other whether they're elected or whether they're CEOs. He's trying to get the best deal for his workforce, and it's shown in the corrections. And I will say, without going into detail, obviously we thought we had a very significant offer on the table for the road patrol. Now, at the end of the day, though, there is a dual employer here, and that's the County of Oneida, and that's where I come in as the executive. And so it's to blame the sheriff for this in its entirety. It comes down to I'm trying to get them what I believe and what we believe they deserve, and that'll be I think very very suitable to them and in recognition of their service. But I also have to be conscious of the bottom line and not have to I can't give away the store here. And I have to be place a conservative thought on how much we can spend, because we just settled corrections, which we gave an unprecedented increase in. We opened up the white and blue collar contracts, in which which has never been done in the history of county government. In my time, and I've been around a long time, and even before me, in which we increased salaries to that end. I'm putting a budget together, as I said, as we speak. Will be done in another week. I have to answer to the taxpayers about why it is what it is, and salaries, and we're all facing the Great Resignation. We have numerous vacancies. We have to can be concerned about retention and recruitment issues, and like never before. So the point here is we're trying to get the best agreement, but there has to be consideration here too, and I just think the statements made in lieu of this is really not the way you want to negotiate, and it's not good faith, and I'll just say that.
All right. Anything else?
Just quickly on SUNY Poly.
Sure.
Any news on SUNY Poly?
Well, no.
Is no news good news?
No, I don't know that. It's hard to tell. Now, the point of contact, it was kind of interesting to me. Just in the last couple of weeks, we have been having discussions, or the last month or so, we've been having discussions to continue with them and laid out what we thought was significant in trying to get the presidency, decided there and put in place. And it came to my attention, the person I was negotiating with on the second floor left and just went to the private sector, the Deputy Secretary for Education. So I'm left with, I asked him, so who do I talk to now?
Right.
But it's kind of the runaround. Back to state government in terms of how it functions, and it's very discouraging and very disappointing that no one, I heard from, someone in the state that this person had left, but, we had communication via phone and email up till like a couple weeks ago, and he never told me he was leaving, nor did anybody else call me and tell me he was leaving, and all of a sudden he's gone. So I'm going to try and track that down and find out who I get to talk to now.
County Executive Anthony Vicente, thank you for the time. We
Thank
appreciate
you.
it.
We'll be back.
We'll do it again.
Have a great week.
You do the same, 8:35. Coming up, Senator Joe Griffo and bail reform. We'll talk about that in a few minutes. Big topic. 8:35 at WIBX.
Steve and Amy saw our infomercial for Mattress Express, the number bed. They live in Herkimer. They saw that we had a store in New Hartford on Commercial Drive in the Hannaford Plaza next to Red Lobster, and one in Oneida in the Glenwood Plaza by the movie theater. Steve had worked in the trades for 30 years. His body had paid a price, and he couldn't sleep at night. They were in separate beds. They came in. They chose the Q9 King Flex head. Steve liked his bed firm. We set it at 40. Elevated his head, elevated his feet, put the massage on high. He said he had not had that comfort in 10 years. His wife, Amy, liked her side soft. She was a 22. We elevated her feet a little less, her head a little higher, and put the massage on low. It was like they each had their own custom bed, but they were back in the same bed. It was affordable because they qualified and signed up for our 5 years, no interest, no money down. And they were thrilled to find out our number bed blowout was held over, and they got a $1,000 prepaid gas card. Come try your number bed today. Call 1-800-NEW-BEDS or go to mattressexpressny.com.
What's the room again?
1240, down at the end.
Ooh, what's that? Sammy, don't touch that. That's someone's old food.
Here we are. Do you have the key?
You have both of ours.
Oh, right. Not working.
Rub it. Come on. Try flipping it over.
Seriously. Why can't we go inside? I'm tired.
Give me yours.
You have mine.
All right.
What?
Please, if you
Dad,
could just...
why aren't you opening the door?
Can everyone just shut the...
Don't go there. Go on a real vacation. Go RVing. Learn more at GoRVing.com.
I'm William Mattar. Big truck crashes often result in serious injuries or death. After a big truck crash, call William Mattar, the largest motor vehicle accident firm in the state. After a serious truck crash, call us right away so our immediate response team can preserve evidence while you focus on your family. Truck crash? Call William Mattar, 315-444-4444, South State Street, Syracuse.
Are you getting a high return on your money in the bank? If not, then bring it over to GPO Federal Credit Union. At GPO, our savings rates are high because we're a credit union and our interest is in our members. You'll fall in love with our rates, 2.40% APY for a 5-year term share certificate, or keep your money liquid with GPO's money market share savings at 0.70% APY. Start building your savings today. GPO has savings products for all generations, from kids' cash savings for youth to retirement accounts for your future. Stop on in to any GPO branch and open your high-interest savings account today to start earning a higher return on your money. CD, $1,000 minimum deposit. Money market, $2,000 minimum deposit. NCUA insured. Penalty for early withdrawal on term share certificates. Membership eligibility required. Rates subject to change at any time. See branch or gpofcu.com for full details.
Every search you make, every click you take, they'll be watching you.
Are you tired of being tracked online? There's a simple solution. DuckDuckGo. It's an all-in-one privacy app with a built-in private search engine, web browser, one-click data clearing, email protection, and more, all for free. Download the app today and get the most comprehensive privacy protection with the push of a button. DuckDuckGo. Privacy simplified.
WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM. This is Keeler.
Portions of the program brought to you by Adirondack Home Furniture, now carrying Smith Brothers Furniture. Smith Brothers has been creating customized living room furniture since 1925 and is known for its high quality, solid build, top-of-the-line pieces made in America with modern technology using age-old craftsmanship. Smith Brothers offers furniture that you can have confidence in for generations, a solid and dependable brand which provides innovative furniture design with every piece. Smith Brothers is a leader in the furniture industry with their award-winning line of upholstered furniture. They've built a reputation for their value and design, and they're leaders in the industry. They'd love you to come in and check it out at Adirondack Home Furniture. Stop in today, Adirondack Home Furniture in the Riverside Center, North Utica, or at AdirondackHomeFurniture.com. Create the home of your dreams with Smith Brothers and Adirondack Home Furniture. 315-738-7817. Senator Joe Griffo is in. Good morning, Senator. Good morning.
Good morning, William.
So you had a busy weekend. You were all over the place.
There was a lot happening this weekend, and I didn't even get a chance to get to everything. We're splitting time between Lewis County and Oneida County, and So a lot happening though, and it was a good weekend, I hope, for most. Even though the weather was a little.
Well, Saturday was nice.
Yeah, Saturday was good.
Sunday was supposed to be nice, and that didn't seem to work out.
We had a great summer though. It was a great summer.
Yeah, it really was. So, but we're supposed to still get a nice fall, so let's not give up on that completely. You had a Second Amendment events over the weekend?
Yeah, up in Lewis County, meeting with some of the individuals there, still concerned about some of the impact of the new laws and what they would mean. So there's some of the sports clubs, the gun clubs that they have, and we have here in Oneida County too. So
I saw in that it may be a judge in Syracuse who decides on the constitutionality of these new laws.
Well, I know that it's in federal court right now. There's a number of lawsuits that have been initiated. The one that we're watching is the one where the judge entered, and I'm not an attorney, but he entered a ruling without prejudice, basically saying, you don't have standing right now, but there will be standing when the law takes place. And I view this, he showed a path, really, I think, to how to approach this, because he felt that there was a number of constitutional questions that he had relative to the statute. So I'm not sure where it is in the courts at this point in time, but I remain hopeful. That would be just for a stay. Essentially what that would do is to stop everything and to say, let's figure out what's happening here. You went and put these laws in effect, so it would bring it back to what it was before even SCOTUS. It's really confusing right now. And
yeah, I mean, I think there's a confusion. People don't understand what the law really is, what it means. These Revolutionary War and Civil War reenactments that were being canceled. And then the governor said you didn't need to cancel that. You could have shown up at a park with these guns, but the law states that you can't.
Well, I think the governor's saying that right now to lull people, just because they even changed their interpretations from the Division of Criminal Justice Services through the state police by saying, well, if you're upstate and you're renewing, you don't have to take a course. But if you're in Westchester, New York City, and Long Island, you have to take the 16-hour course with the 2-hour live fire training. Now, that you would have to take if you're new, but on a renewal was what it was intended to be, too. But now they're saying
confusing.
Well, I think that's done intentionally right now because they want to lull people to not make them be quite upset. And people should be upset and angry because this is really an infringement on their Second Amendment rights. This is way too far relative to what the Supreme Court ruled. You can license. The Supreme Court ruled that licensing is appropriate in each state. However, you do not have the subjectivity to determine what type of license is granted to who. So we'll see what happens, but it would be nice to get a stay, at least so it goes back to before this all took place, because I think the Democrat majorities in the legislature, along with the governor, obviously really imposed some severe restrictions infringing on Second Amendment rights, in my opinion.
Do you believe that the reenactments were always okay, or they, after the fact, said, no, that's okay?
Yeah, I think it depends on how you read it, because even in floor debate, if you go on the transcripts of the floor debate, most of the things they're saying is okay now, wasn't okay when they were debating the bill, and they were saying this is not what you can do. In fact, technically, these sports clubs that exist throughout our county and the North Country everywhere, if you have a bar in one of these clubs, you can't have a firearm. Now, think about that. It's a firearm club. And if you can't bring your firearm there to target practice, then because there's a bar there, and technically it's just ridiculous, in my opinion. The whole approach and this doesn't make New York any safer. That's the issue.
Yeah.
Will and does this make New York safer? Absolutely not, in my opinion.
I want to ask about bail reform. We had a press conference last week on this. What do we know, and is there? I don't know that you're going to be able to change anything, are you?
The only way we're going to change things is to change the people who are running the state, because they are not going to change this. They've proven that and demonstrated it. They've tweaked it a little bit so they can say, look, we heard you and we're doing something, but it's really nothing. And you can you don't have to listen to me, talk to the prosecutors or the law enforcement. So to me, anything but a repeal is unacceptable. And I believe in criminal justice reform. And I think we can really reform the system, but get the input of the people on the ground. They can be criminal defense attorneys as well as prosecutors and law enforcement. Let's get it right. I think there's a resistance and a reluctance to do that. So in my opinion, you have an opportunity to change who's running the state, and that's the only way you're going to see changes. Think about this with bail. This is a quick one now. So Jeff goes and steals a car, grand theft auto, and when he's arrested, he'll be released. But now Jeff has a license to carry. He's been given that license appropriately and properly, done everything the right way. But he goes into a store now where he can't, based on the new law, have a gun, even though he's legally allowed to carry that gun. But now he can't in this particular store. He could be arrested for a Class E felony, and there's no bail. So and there is bail. And this is just ridiculous.
There would be bail for him,
right?
But not for somebody
on the gun
else.
charge, but not on the stolen vehicle.
Right, and yet you legally possess that gun. It's just because you're in a place now that they designated as a sensitive area, and that store maybe before said it was okay to come in with a gun. So this is just ridiculous.
It is ridiculous. We briefly spoke earlier this morning about we were going to hear from an attorney later this week about really what is the change in bail reform? Is it having an impact? Is this all blown out of proportion, essentially, right?
Well, what he claims is when you look at the numbers that I know, Joe, we've talked about this, but give me a second to tell you what he claims, and he hasn't claimed it yet. So we got to get him on the air to make the claim. But based on what he was telling me, is that when you look at the numbers and the way judges were already acting, the way judges were already deciding, the impact has the negative impact that's being reported, he says, is not true based on the statistics, based on the numbers that, by the way, come out every 6 months. So he says.
Statistics can be influenced one way or another, as you know. I think people know and have seen that crime is on the rise. There's greater concern and fear in our communities when you and I interact with people each and every day. And I believe that many of these policies, despite what they're saying, have contributed to that. Same in the prisons. You're seeing correctional officers being beat up, and there's no consequence to this because they stopped HALT, which is
different than bail reform.
Right,
However, hold on,
these are all part of their policies.
Hold on, Joe. You're arguing with me as if I'm saying that this is true. I'm not. I'm just saying there's somebody out there that's saying something different. And what I would like, as I told you over the weekend, and you agreed, is for you to come on when we have this guy on, because you have the other side of this that you can argue with him in that way where we don't have the numbers.
And I can do that from a policy perspective, but more important is talk to the people on the ground. Talk to District Attorney Scott McNamara. The reason we had the press conference on Thursday is because Scott sent me a letter saying something has to be done about this, and I called the DA up and said, why are you writing to me? You know that where I stand, and I have a lot of respect for Scott. And he laughed.
Yeah.
So I said, what we need to do, he goes, what do you want to do? I go, let's have another press event. I'm tired of doing this, but we have to continue to let people know what's happening. And he eloquently told people what was wrong with this system and just used the most recent case that was outrageous. And we had the county executive with us and members on both sides of the legislature. What they did, Bill, is they've tied the hands of the judiciary. They did not provide them with any judicial flexibility.
Again, you're talking to me as if I'm promoting this guy's theory. I'm not. I'm just telling you this is what he claims. And maybe we ought to have you on, but also have Scott McNamara and maybe Sheriff Mashal on as well.
That'd be great. Let's put a little round table together, yeah.
Yeah, I'd like to do that.
I can just think of one case in particular, and I don't know, I'm not an expert on this, but I know there was a case with
What'd you do with the car you stole? You ran back?
We're taking it to Albany today, Senator. Had an interaction with a police officer, allegedly, per the officers, punched the cop multiple times in the face. A fight ensued. They get him into the handcuffs. They take him downtown. No bail. I don't think it was handled that way 2 years ago. I'm sorry. I could be wrong, but I don't think if you went up and literally punched a cop multiple times, they would take your photo, take your fingerprints, and then send you on your way. Didn't work that way 2 years ago.
However, I do think that they had the opportunity to post bail.
Sure, they would have, yes.
And they probably did, and they were out anyway. That's part of what this guy is claiming, I believe, is that judges already had discretion. And in some cases, they were lenient with people, depending on the severity of the case. In other cases, people got out on bail. So at the end of the day, when you look at the way the numbers are, what he claims is they're not as bad as we are all reporting that they are. I'm not saying that this is true. I'm just saying, Joe.
Yeah, it's just a catch and release right now, essentially, what they're doing. You've
yeah.
seen it time and time again. I mean, I don't know how many more cases can be outlined that people are. You've had them so many here in just in our area
I mean,
alone.
we've even spoken with police officers who say we don't. I mean, why arrest the person at this point? Because we're just going to have to let them go anyway.
Essentially, we've gotten to a point in society where there's really no consequence for bad behavior. I mean, look what happened to Sculpture Space. Even though these are underage, and you talk about raise the age, what that meant, there's got to be a consequence for bad behavior.
Yeah, but that's a bad example. Well, it is because they're now through the probation department and family court, which is exactly what would have happened. Bail reform
But I'm not talking
played
about bail
no role
reform
on
there. I'm
these
talking
kids.
about the lack of consequences that exist right
But
now
they're
in society.
suffering the same consequences that they would.
Well,
Bail reform
I don't
didn't
know.
change that.
I mean, they could have had community service. I'm not sure that they'll be given community service. We'll see what happens.
Bail reform has not affected those kids.
Understood.
We could have a conversation about a lack of parental guidance,
Well,
which
accountability
has disappeared
and
in
accountability
the world. Okay, again, two different cases,
Right.
Joe. Right?
Absolutely.
To be fair.
What else do you want to argue
To
about?
be fair, I don't know. Can we think of something else?
The Mets
I'm sure I'll
suck.
come up.
I'd ask you-
what?
Ooh.
Wait. I was on your side till you said that. All right, it was 2-on-1.
Ooh. But you understand what I'm saying. I mean, they're
Bills
already
blew
going.
another game.
These kids would never be thrown in jail anyway for what they did at
No,
Sculpture
understood
Space.
that.
Yes.
The point I was
but,
making.
But the people who are robbing a store in Rome 4 days in a row, something would have been done to them, and they just keep getting let out, and there's nothing we can do
we
to
just
them.
continued the
That's a
conversation.
problem.
We continued the conversation, and you're right. And I was not trying to say that these two are similar. The point I was making is where we are as a society, philosophically and politically, is there's a lack of consequence for some of this inappropriate or bad behavior. And
Sure.
I think some people don't believe there has to be a consequence. Oh, they made a mistake. Hopefully they'll learn, and then it won't happen again. Well, when you see the damage and the destruction that was done at Sculpture Space, there's got to be a higher level of accountability.
And my
opinion.
point is that's a bad example because Randy Caldwell is, if this comes before him, is a logical man who's going to be able to say we have to try to curb the behavior of these juvenile delinquents. Because that's
Plus, they were 8, 9, 10.
right. I'm just saying it's not a good example, Joe. I'm sorry.
I still think there has to be a consequence regardless of the age.
I do. I agree. There should be. But there is my
accountability.
point. Bail reform didn't really do that. However, there are things in the judicial or in the criminal justice system where the kids who are at a certain age, they can't do anything to those kids in jail. That's a problem. That is a good example.
Well, that's the raise the age issue that we had.
Yeah.
Can I ask as well?
He's over there smiling at me. Look at him.
We've seen fewer instances of this, thank goodness. But we talked to a former CO on the air who almost overdosed in prison because of exposure to fentanyl. Has
Just by coming in contact with it.
Correct. Has the drug situation in prisons in the state, especially those locally, has it gotten any better? And is there anything the state can do as far as the governor, or I know you had the surprise visit, but is there anything you can do to force a search or better enforcement of keeping drugs out of prison?
So the answer is I think the drug problem continues to exist, and the contraband continues to enter the facility. They've always had issues like this, but they've seemed to be much more intense and frequent now. And the other answer is yes, we can do something about it. There are a number of a secure vendor program could be done where you go to one vendor and everything comes through and is monitored. There are a number of practices that can be implemented, but again, right now people are more pro-inmate than they are pro-officer. And I think we've got to strike a balance there. We've got to return back to the individuals who are there to supervise and watch those who have committed crimes and are now being punished for those crimes. And not only correctional officers, but I have a problem with nurses, because you have nurses in these facilities.
Oh, I know.
And a number of nurses that are administering properly and with compassion are ending up in the hospital because they're exposed to something like this. One had to be Narcan, and that's ridiculous. That's outrageous.
This is a great example where the accountability has just been taken away, And if you're an inmate, you realize the consequences aren't going to be there.
Right, and that's the whole thing that we talked about, because that was where they would be put into a special unit. And now some people call it like solitary, but it's solitary, but it's not solitary in the sense that they still have. If you saw it right now, it's not like the Shawshank Redemption. It's just an individual cell. And they still have privileges, though. They still get
get tablets.
They still get their tablet and everything.
Cable TV.
Get a window.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But now
Caviar. Probably.
But now there's none of that. You can't do that either. And that's why I'm saying the political spectrum is just, the pendulum has swung too far. Too far left.
Do you think if Kathy Hochul were going to be visiting one of the prisons, they would go through and search to make sure that she didn't have any exposure to fentanyl? Or do you think they'd go, well, we trust our vendors? It probably it's probably not included in there.
Yeah, that's why I did the unannounced visit, because I wanted to make sure we got there to see what was happening without them preparing for a visit. And we will follow up. We are going to be there in the next few weeks with a joint visit from the Assembly and the Senate, the legislators from this area. So we're going to be doing a follow-up to just see what's happening. And we've been trying to advocate at the Department of Correctional Services, but a lot of this, again, comes from legislative policy and the philosophy of the current occupant of the governor's office.
Something tells me when you talk to the prison officials who have been there for some time, they go, yeah, Senator, we know, but our hands are tied right now.
Yeah, absolutely. You're right.
Anything else you want to argue about, Joe? Anything you got on your mind?
We talked about Senator Gillibrand's harebrained scheme to send migrants up to from New York City up to upstate. And she thought that was a great idea. Now she's backpedaling because we've called her out on it. And again, I want to make sure people
went
understand.
head to head with her.
Absolutely, and I think
you won that battle.
And I want people to understand that
which is not a big victory, because I think you're dealing with, they say a guy's an empty suit. I don't know what they would say in her case, but it would be similar.
Well, she underrepresents us here upstate.
No doubt.
I can tell
we
you
don't
that.
even know who she is.
But I do believe we have a great refugee program, and we welcome people because it's being done properly and with existing laws and protocols, and we've assimilated them into the community. We actually welcome migrant workers here, particularly in the agriculture industry, because it's being done, again, with the established protocols and procedures. These are undocumented people coming from different places illegally across the border and now ending up in cities, and Gillibrand's idea is let's just ship them because it's too much for Eric Adams, and I understand that. That's a burden on the city of New York. He's trying to think of where to put them, maybe in cruise ships. But this idea that we're going to send them upstate because I'm doing you a favor shows you how out of touch she is with the concerns and challenges of upstate New York.
She's a doozy. But I think you handled her quite well in that debate.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Are you guys still friends, or is it?
No, there's
a chill in the air.
Very angry with Joe. Very angry.
It was the Mets comment. I apologize for that. I apologize.
I didn't hear
it's
you.
a Yankee fan. I mean, I still want to see a Subway Series.
I didn't hear you ripping on the Bills. That's for sure.
No, it was kind of sad though the way that ended yesterday.
I know, it was terrible, but
I have nothing to be.
Christine's a Miami fan, so
yeah, well,
yeah,
I'm a Raiders fan. Look where we are.
Yeah.
0-3.
Okay, Joe, nice job. Thank you.
All right, good seeing you all.
Have a
Take
wonderful
care.
day. A couple things I have to talk about before we go. Adirondack Bank, mortgages tailored for your needs. Fixed conventional mortgages, construction mortgages, FHA, VA, camp financing program, USDA rural housing loans, whatever it is that fits your situation, your family, your next investment. Your dream begins at Adirondack Bank, a local bank, local decisions. Begin at adkbank.com, Adirondack Bank member FDIC. And Hemstratz is the original Half Moon, voted best of the best for good reason. Baked from scratch and hand-frosted, delicious, and created right here in Utica, Hemstratz. And you can check out the artisanal cheeses, which are incredible. The Weekender, a ready-to-go box of amazing artisan cheeses. And that toasted cheese sandwich they're offering now, lunch delights that you can take advantage of. It's Hemstratz and artisanal cheese in Utica.
Cross Blue Shield Studio, WIBX 950 Utica Road, W295DI Utica Road, your news, talk, and sports leader, Town Square Media Station.
Hey, it's Dana Cortez, and I'm married to DJ Automatic. When it comes to big life decisions, having options is something I value for our family, especially when it comes to saving money. That's why I love State Farm.
State Farm knows everyone has a budget, and they've got options like insuring your car and your home, getting you great rates on both, or they can help personalize your policy with options so that you can get a surprisingly great rate.
I love that option. Saving money, that's what it's all about, so we bundle our home and our car. So for surprisingly great rates, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Call or go to statefarm.com for a quote today.
Trying to hit Cuba tomorrow and then somewhere along Florida's Gulf Coast later this week.
Storm surge, I think, is, it kills more people. And when you have a Category 3, a major hurricane, with all of that water moving in towards the West Coast, that's going to be a big deal.
Fox meteorologist Janice Dean.
We're in Tampa right now, moving to close schools so far this week. They're preparing to use more than 50 of their public school buildings to potentially become shelters if needed.
Fox Weather's Nicole Valdez.
And we're also seeing a lot of resources start to run out. We're talking water going fast, fuel running low in some areas.
Russia is calling it a terrorist act. A school shooting today in the city of Izhevsk. 13 people are dead, 7 of them students. Most of the 23 shot and wounded were also kids. The gunman is a graduate of that school and also killed himself. A plan to carry out a mass shooting busted up in Chico, California. A 37-year-old man in custody.
Authorities say he threatened to kill police officers and their family members and set a deadline for a large-scale shooting spree resembling the 2017 massacre in Las Vegas. 60 people were killed and more than 400 wounded when a gunman in a high-rise hotel committed the deadliest mass shooting in U.S. history.
Fox